Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the European Technology Network. It is 2026.
Baby.
It's also the 6th of January. It's Tuesday, and we're back in the studio. Luke, how are you feeling?
I'm back where I belong. I feel so good.
I've missed it. I've missed home.
The stream.
You're also looking very sharp today, Luke.
I hope everyone likes our outfits. We thought we'd dress up for the occasion. 2026. We're live and direct. We are going to be live streaming the whole year. This is going to be amazing. ETN is a rocket ship, literally just blasting out
flying
the
away.
atmosphere.
So 2026 is the year of style for us. We've decided we wanted to start the year off.
The year of the fire horse, indeed.
We wanted to start the year off a little bit steezy. But before we get into our future plans, let me just tell you a little bit more about the show today. Before we do that, I want to give a shout out to our newest sponsor.
Let's address the elephant in the room, baby.
It's the world's largest prediction market. Stay informed and profit from your knowledge. Go to polymarket.com, the world's leading prediction market company.
We should just say sorry for being 30 minutes late. Yeah. We had a few difficulties which were semi-technical. It's the European Technology Network. You've got to wait every now and again. I'm having my third coffee of the day.
In true European style,
Indeed.
we were late to our first show back. We could blame the technology.
But we have these things.
We do have these things.
We have these things.
We could blame the technology, but a bad craftsman would blame the tools.
Exactly.
2026 is also the year of honesty. And we are being honest right now.
Is it?
Late. It is. I've just decided that it is.
Right, nice.
We were slightly late. Look,
okay, let's go
into the order of play. Just quickly on the news, what are we going to be looking at? We've got a few things to cover that we've missed over the holidays. One, SoftBank has completed their $40 billion OpenAI investment, which is, fun for everyone involved. Is it enough to trump Google sitting as king of the hill? We're going to have to see what happens with that. IPO bonanza in 2026. We're looking at SpaceX, OpenAI, Anthropic, all preparing for IPOs.
There was a great Polymarket prediction about whether they will all IPO in 2026.
So yeah, it's weird because they're not all like certain.
My thing is they won't. FYI.
What, you don't think all three of them will?
No. Fat chance. No way.
You think like one of them?
I think one of them. I think the most likely is SpaceX. I think
they want to mess with Musk, huh?
Exactly. I think he knows that if he IPOs, the amount of money that flows through that company is probably the most amount. I think it'll be the biggest IPO in the world.
Well, it was closing in on the world's first trillionaire, I believe.
Yeah, well, that would be his pay package, right? If he hits all of the things that he wants to. Hits
his targets.
Hits those targets, exactly.
We've got Meta acquiring Manus. This was a personal favorite of mine. The Manus team
Big deal.
Killers from the start. A lovely story about distribution, I think, that we can touch on shortly. Food delivery app internal leak. You've probably already seen this, but it ends up being DoorDash. Tony Zhu, the CEO, comes out and responds to what people believe to be a real insider leak, and then as quickly as the story unravels, we see that it may not have been a legitimate leak. It may have been AI. We don't know. But it's a nod towards the unfortunate situations that these lot of like AI generation images as well, standard LLMs though, are causing problems for these larger companies. Few more things to cover. We'll get onto that. We're also doing industry predictions for 2026. We've got Sifted's, Arthur Scott's, Vinod Khosela's, who decided to mog everyone, and instead of doing predictions for 2026. Is doing predictions for 2050.
Yeah.
Which I thought was pretty gangster of him. I thought that was quite funny. He decided to, let's not look at next year.
Actually, I've just realized that I thought that was like, not a typo, but I thought that was a mistake.
No. His plans are measured in centuries.
He's actually deliberately made them for 2050.
He doesn't
fair
do
play.
These like year things. He just does,
fair. I guess we're into the next quarter of the 2000s on ones.
It's Q2. It's Q2 of the decade.
Of the decade. Yeah. No, of the millennium.
Yeah. Sorry, the millennium. Yeah.
Of the decade.
Let's have a strong Q2 this millennium, everybody. Guests.
We have 4 guests on today. We had a bit of a latecomer, but the ones that we had on ready to go. The first ever guest of 2026 is Eric Quatham, founder and CEO of Velocity. They thankfully gave us these bobbleheads, so we're going to have to thank Eric when he
sure
comes
if
on
they're
the
in
show.
the shop,
Then we have the co-founder and CEO of Lucis Life. They're a European company that do health prediction, I believe using blood testing. I think it's one of the first of its kind. It's quite exciting. We have Maxime Berthelot. He is coming on. He's the co-founder and CEO of that company. They have just raised $8.5 million, I believe. I want to say,
GC.
is it GC?
GC participation from Y Combinator, Chemo Ventures,
you go.
Mossio Ventures.
heard
Mossio
it
Ventures is
We were meant to have him on the last show because they came out of stealth that day or something.
Yeah.
Or they came out with that round, but unfortunately he was ill, so we're doing it again. We're doing it now. Third guest, we have the GTM builder and advisor god, Stefan Ross.
No, we've actually had a late submission in to the show.
This the fifth? Oh, that's
so Lawrence Lundy Bryant, general partner at Cloudberry VC.
He's the third one.
First dedicated semiconductor VC is coming on the show. We were chatting. It's been booked in this morning. We're excited to sit down with Lawrence as well. But then the fourth and final guest of the day is the one and only
The GTM
Stefan
god.
Ross, aka the GTM King, ATA the Scottish King, aka co-founder at CG Partners. We're going to be
doing
talking
a bit of a hybrid between ETA, aka
ETM, a lot of abbreviations.
on.
But we're going to be talking to Stefan
Too
about
much brain
GTM. How do
power.
you scale a startup where it's pre-seed, seed, Series A, Series B? They work with everyone. He's going to be sharing some tips and tricks on the GTM world.
Indeed. Let's jump in before we have them on. On to our newest sponsor, Polymarket, the world's largest prediction market. Stay informed and profit from your knowledge. You will see a new chyron at the bottom of the screen, just below our friends over at Spectre. Be the reason your fund wins the deal of the decade. That's
Smooth.
two ad reads right there. The first two of 2026. It feels
Maybe,
good.
Point to if
yeah.
it's like down there.
Is going
If you
that
see it
way
down there.
or that way, one of the two, I don't know. But exciting times. Thank you very much for Polymarket for backing the show. We're pumped. We're pumped to have them on board. They're pumped about us. It's all good in the hood.
We're excited to work closely with the team.
Indeed.
But
shall we jump
let
into
me-
predictions? I
Yes,
think.
let's start with Sifted.
The first one, Sifted. So
Can we pull this
a lot
one
of
up
the people
as
that
well?
a lot of the people that we talk to say they don't really like Sifted.
Oh, wait, hold
they're
on.
not
I'm on the
too
wrong-
happy about Sifted. And these predictions are actually really, really good. I'm a big fan.
Yeah, we can get them up in a sec.
I believe there's 6 of them, something like that. But they're all from different.
They did quite a lot.
Yeah, they're all from different editors and writers of Sifted, which is quite a nice little flavour. One of them talks about media and VCs starting podcasts. We're not VCs, but we do own a podcast, so that's quite fun, or a live show, one of the two, whatever. I think what I've done is I have gone through them, I've read them, I've understood them, I've done a bit of research, and I've pulled out the ones that I think are the most interesting and the ones that are most likely to happen. But do you want to read through the first bit, general stuff, and then I can go on to that?
Yes, title of the article, a space tech IPO, a robot decacorn, and a European entrepreneur running for president. Here's Sifted's
hoorah.
predictions for European tech in 2026. So Sifted do this quite a lot. So last year, Sifted reports predicted that climate tech would have a terrible 2025, tick. Defense tech M&A would pick up, tick, tick. And Klarna's
Tick.
IPO would see plenty of other fintechs lining up to go public. Not so much yet. Freya Prati is leading the charge with the first prediction of 2026, which is AI startups will have to prove ROI and a load won't manage it. Before I comment on like the exact prediction, this was personally one of my favorites. I think it's about time, to be quite frank. I think we're going to see a lot of there's going to be a sieving. We're going to see some people slip through the net. I don't think that flashy valuations and like insane levels of distribution, which is obviously a great thing, will correlate to like enterprise value. I think I agree with what she's saying, but I think it will be specifically for like enterprise companies, enterprise value. Because I think this thing was like a bit of a pendulum, like AI first. Like we even saw with Klarna, right? When
It's the key theme in all of these predictions is, and it was in one of our predictions, which we'll go through in a second, the ETN 2026 predictions. But AI makes output cheap, so therefore taste, trust, and proof becomes the expensive bit. That's what's expensive, and that's what the people will be paying a premium for. It's not all about generalization. And I think Scott Belsky in his ones had a great summary at the end, and was basically, let me just try and find it. Yeah. So he said, it's all about personalized experiences and consolidating generalized solutions to be like more tailored. It's not about going for like the big thing. And I feel like a lot of it's, we've talked about the fact that all of these AI companies kind of barnacles on the big waves of the hyperscalers, and a lot of them will be wiped out purely because they are solving a very general problem that can be solved either in-house with in-house engineers and in-house AI built for the company itself, but also these very specific, like, I mean, we saw like front kind of loaded engineers. What were they called? Like
forward deployed engineers.
Forward deployed engineers, and that's the game, I think, now.
I think it's a piece of a puzzle of like a larger picture, and I think that like if you really do look, you're starting to see the tides change a bit. Like this era of like Naval tweeting, we're in the era of code slop. When Lewis Liu came on, he was saying that like, it's too easy now to produce, therefore the quality is lower, right? Like the only way to stand up, and we've been banging this drum for a while, is like just good craftsmanship and design. But also,
I mean, I'll give a good example is us. Like the plumbing of our business is all AI and built by people no smarter than us. Well, me. So like that is like
a non-AI native.
A non-AI, non-techie dude who's managed to figure out how to create automations, and it's great. It means I don't have to spend time, which I would
like the
do.
lovable slogan. You know?
Oh,
it's like
amazing.
you become a bit of an engineer.
Yeah, indeed.
But I think
I think it helps with that. But we're a super simple business.
Yeah. It's not. It's straightforward. Like
I've slopped my way to automating a business.
Yeah, but I think we can. The slop stuff's kind of fine for us. But I think the interesting thing you mentioned just then, like it's no longer hard to do work because you don't really have to think that hard because the AI kind of just thinks for you in a way, right? So like, I think it's now like, if you look at from like a cognitive load perspective, and let's say that equals like capital, right? You're spending time thinking, you're using energy to think, which doesn't really happen that much as it used to anymore. It's become expensive to like actually sit down from a cognitive load perspective. It's become expensive to actually sit down and think through a problem. Whereas like, because now you don't have to do that. Like, hey AI,
it's
give me 5,
time expensive.
Blah 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 blah. Yeah, hey Jim.
And therefore financially expensive.
And therefore like no one does it because why would you risk spending cognitive load that you could keep on board in yourself when because you can just outsource it to an LLM, right? So I feel like, again, as most things happen with these type of shifts, it'll be like a pendulum motion. I think this year, we'll see like a lot more. We'll see a lot more like nice craftsmanship, and this whole storytelling narrative. Like it's all slowly converging together, I think. Which is a great thing. And we spent quite a while on sifters. We haven't even gone through any of them. We've just been rambling and yapping. But it's good to be back yapping,
It is good to be back yapping. So that was the number one. We've got a ton to get to.
We've done one. I just sit down. It's this new mic. It makes me want to...
You can just yap for days.
I feel like I'm on stage right now.
So there was one if you scroll down to the Anne Schrader's one, the watch out for some big mergers in defense tech. Cool, whatever.
You playing?
Sorry, my bad.
That's funny.
That's hilarious. Maybe you could hear that in mic. Sorry.
Okay.
My laptop was playing. Cool, whatever. She talks about mergers. But the interesting thing I wanted to mention was the stuff at the bottom, which said a number of new VCs spin out funds. So like so many companies basically being started. Actually, let me read it out first. So she said,
is this Anne Schrader's?
It's this Anne Schrader's. It's the 2 lines at the bottom.
Yeah.
We also might see a number of new VCs spin out funds from investors leaving big firms, think Lakestar, HV, or General Catalyst, particularly in deep tech or AI. I very much agree with that, and I think that should be her prediction. Like that should have been the main prediction in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, yes, you can take the kind of M&A stance. That's always going to happen when a ton of companies being started and booms and all of that kind of stuff. There's going to be a consolidation, but it's so many companies being started, knowledge and therefore like capital needs to like focus down was the interesting bit. Like I think these VCs who are working in like a little bit more like generalist funds, they might have specific kind of sub funds within them. But if you're super, you know, if you've got a massive network in a very niche space, go and do it on your own. Go and go and raise a fund off that thesis and niche down. And I think that's where the like real opportunity is, because then you can see a niche company being started, then a larger hyperscaler. And we're seeing this already with the Salesforces of the world and the other like large enterprise companies buying these smaller companies for like the acqui-hire narrative.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's I think that's the loop there. Like that's how it's going to like happen, and it's just going to keep kind of like compounding like that.
Yeah.
And then I don't know what's going to happen.
I agree with you, and I think it's part of like I think we're starting to see this is again just like a small piece of a larger picture, which is it's now possible to, it's like the democratization of everything, right? It's now possible to very easily go and start your own solar VC fund, whether it's successful or not.
I wouldn't say it's not
like
easy, but
it's easier than it's previously been.
If you have the network and you have the expertise, yes.
But that's like one part of like, it's easier to code up your new app, right? We love it. It's easier to start a show. Yeah. It's easier.
I guess from 0 to 1, it's easier. Yeah.
Barriers to entries for 0 to 1 is
like it's still
so much
like
lower.
Kudos for going to raise your own fund, but yeah, it is easier.
Easier, but not that it's not hard. Sorry, it is hard. I'm not saying it's like it's super easy to go and raise. It's incredibly difficult. Obviously, like it would require a lot of work.
So I'm just pressing down.
No, please do. Like, it's important. But what I think that it's another small element of like I think a wider change that we're seeing in the space that we sit in, which is like a lot more people are like taking things into their own hands and just running it on their own because they've realized that they can, right? They've realized the power of a platform. They've realized the power of like just posting on X, for example, and building an audience. Like, I think all of that comes back to now, like people are starting to like focus on their self. And I think Naval reposted a tweet that he had up the other day. We can bring this off the screen now. Naval brought up a post that he had on the other day that he retweeted it. It was a post from 2021. And it was basically saying like, in the next 5 to 10 years, everyone will be in the creator economy. Mm-hmm. And like, I know that we're slightly biased because it's kind of the economy that we sit in when you think about it. But like...
we very much sit in it.
True. I say that when we're not like, we're not like an influencer on Instagram or something like that. But like, we are creating content. But I do think that we're starting to see like, even like, part of that storytelling piece that went viral in the Wall Street Journal recently, like this storytelling narrative is something that the enterprise companies have to buy into. And like we can touch on Lulu's article in a sec that she posted that went super like mega viral, which is I know we're only like 6 days into 2026, but I'm crowning this like my favorite thing of 2026 so far. And like I think it'll hold. I think it'll stay there for a little bit.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm just checking we've still like we've got this off the.
Yeah, I mean, I had another one, but game's game.
Okay, well, there's so much to
move
go
on
over.
To Scott Belsky's predictions of 2026. We can get them up on the screen. I have done the same thing. I've basically chosen the ones that I think are the most relevant or the most likely to be right.
Yeah.
To be correct predictions. The first one is, we've already talked about this, we've touched on it. Do you want to get it up on the screen?
Yeah. This is Scott
this one.
Belsky's
So number 3 is the most one of the most interesting ones. Behind the scenes, proof of craft content will enter the mainstream of advertising and entertainment. I think this is good. There's more slop.
Are we starting with number 3? Yeah.
I'm starting with number 3.
Cool. Let's go.
I've just chosen the best 5 or best 4
because the year of starting ahead of the game. I like it.
Well, we're not going to get through all of them, so I've just chosen the best ones, and we'll do that.
Let's go.
So I said this is good because there's going to be more slop, and therefore more opportunity to show your craft. We're going to talk about this when we talk about Lulu's. but it's obviously more. It's just like there's more stuff going out, and therefore, if you can show genuine like hard work,
Yeah.
there's more chance you're gonna win.
So this is interesting. Let's read the whole thing out here. So behind the scenes, proof of craft content will enter the mainstream of advertising and entertainment. As more AI generated content fills our feeds, we will develop a membrane of doubt. That's fake will become a default reaction as we become increasingly unimpressed by attention grabbing content. Only when we see the ingenuity and craftsmanship behind the making of a piece of content that we become mesmerized by it. We've seen this with Apple's recent TV logo and ad campaigns that were accompanied by behind the scenes content that served as a proof of the humanity and ingenuity behind the work. Don't get me wrong. Technology can also be used in incredibly precise and creative ways, but the bar for craft has gone up and process will become part of the end product. That is a lovely little paragraph there from my friend.
Paragraph.
Why do I like this? Because again, it comes back to the craftsmanship piece. It comes back to the proof of work. Like
someone quote tweeted this post and said, I think he's a follower of ours. He said, that's why live streams are doing so well.
I think so.
And it's true. It's,
Tell you who's
it's pretty hard to make what we're doing, like
fake.
All
live.
of this is live.
Like if I punched you in the face right now, that would be, we can't edit that out. That just goes straight
That's
out
on the
there.
internet for the rest of the world.
I'll tell you who's really good at this.
That's a good little growth hack.
What, punching you in the
Punch
face?
co-founder in face growth.
Yeah, that could, violence.
Maybe we'll
That's
try
what
that
they're saying.
in 2026.
Yeah, new head of violence. We'll have to hire someone to just be violent all the time.
Head of storytelling and head of violence.
Who's really good at this is Molly over at Sorcery. Shout out to the Sorcery team.
Here we go.
Got the cap there. Yeah. We do indeed.
Thanks to Molly.
Because a lot of her work is walking around with this. It's unpolished in a great way. The Alex Karp interview. Obviously, I think we crowned it as.
Yeah, I think
best
she's
interview of
cracked. She's
2026.
cracked it on the
model's
fact that
great.
she's a podcast. Like she's not. She's not doing live shows, but
it's like
she's
it's the
doing
behind the
something-
scenes.
Yeah.
It's
It's
you see
messy.
the craft.
It's messy. She has no idea what Alex Karp's going to do,
Well, he got out a sword and waved it around, which went super viral, which is amazing.
basically everyone has seen. Yeah.
Let's see. Let's have another look at a few more of these. Did
So
you have another
number
favourite,
7
or
was
number
also
7
a really good one. Ambient listening and summarization will go mainstream. I think this is so interesting. Do you want to read it out and then I'll
let's
give
go.
my take?
Ambient listening and summarization will go mainstream. While many teams use services like Granola or Zoom to record and annotate their meetings, the idea of walking around with an always listening device is still somewhat fringe and socially deviant. But this will change once local models can process and summarize our daily life and quickly discard the actual recordings, giving us a treasure trove of self-awareness, instant recall, and intelligent guidance. The implications are numerous, from catching our own biases and living more by fact than conjecture, conversing with new forms of punctuation and trigger words to aid in speedy recall, to tough questions about sharing our memory with others, and who gets to continuing querying it.
Continue querying it.
He's got
Good stuff.
continuing querying.
I'll read it out next time.
I am reading this out. That is a grammatical error.
He does have a few grammatical errors. I think he wrote it pretty quickly. Anyway, my
But we
take
like that,
was
unpolished.
agree.
Okay, I'm going to disagree. But
When you say, interesting.
Yeah.
When you say, when you see like a big figure spearheading this, say like a Brian Johnson of longevity type character, this will become mainstream. That's my prediction for 2026. I think it will happen late.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's still a lot of things to happen for that to happen. But think about when the granolas of the world came out on, the evolution of video meetings.
Yeah.
Recording your meeting was weird. Now it's not. Now you're expecting everyone to do so. I had one of our mentors of ETN tell me we should be recording every single conversation that we have, like every single thing, because everything that we say on, off camera, whatever, is part of the show. We have a lot of conversations where we say, damn, I wish that was a wicked conversation.
Yeah,
I
that was
wish
cool.
that was on the show.
Yeah,
I wish
yeah.
we were live right now.
Okay.
Can we make that? Am I changing your mind here?
No. Not at all. I think that look, don't get me wrong. If you and I had a device that records everything we say, okay, that's fair. I think that's good. But you can't. when they say everyday life, and I've experienced this, right? So there was a thing called, and I won't say who it is, but she's actually on our cap table.
When I say everyday life, I mean everyday life in like a tech office. Like I don't mean like you go to the shop,
even then,
and
it's
like the cashier is like being recorded.
No, but
like,
you
don't
know,
want that.
like you kind of sometimes do, right? Because like maybe you're picking up things like, so the example I give is there was a company called B. B was acquired by Amazon really early. B was a wearable listening device.
Yeah.
It was, I think they launched it like 2.5 years ago less.
Which I see as an evolution of like the Ring doorbell being bought by Amazon.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, you can't wear a doorbell.
No. I'm not
I mean,
saying
you could. You'd probably be laughed at.
I'm not saying you have to wear a
You can
doorbell.
wear a doorbell if you arrive at places,
No.
you can ring the own doorbell. You can't. That's
Sorry, I'm just
I think-
recording this conversation.
Anyway, like, so yeah, with my Ring doorbell, you'd be a freak, mate. You can't tell me that's going mainstream.
No, but that was like semi-weird recording outside your house, everyone
So-
coming to your house.
True, but
Now
I get
it's
like,
not.
no, but I think that's
Now
fine.
it's
It's,
so
your
weird.
property.
Now
though.
it's semi-weird
You can do
not
what you
to
want
have
on
one.
your property, right? But then, okay, so this is interesting because this is linked to what I'm going to say. This was. Okay, so you said meetings were weird at first when they were being recorded, right?
Yes.
But the individual, the right thing to do would be like, hey, by the way, am I cool to record this meeting? That's how it would go down. They wouldn't all automatically be recording, and like most of the recording technology would alert everyone in the call that this is going to be recorded. Some even let people like opt out. You could say like, I don't want this to be recorded, and then it wouldn't let the call be recorded. So like, the funny thing about these listening devices is you don't get that permission unless the human wearing the device says, excuse me, I'm wearing a device that records everything.
Yeah.
Are you okay if I leave it on?
Yeah.
All that's done now is just like guardrails up in the conversation. You know? Like that's not going to be that's not going to be like you could be like, yeah, sure, but now I'm on the record. Like imagine if like someone was walking around and
you're like
recording
wearing a
everything.
wire.
So you're wearing a wire, yeah. Like and I remember that
When will wearing a wire become mainstream? That's what I want to know.
Why don't we all just be rats in the mob? 'Cause everyone will be sleeping with the
The
fish.
data that company could sell who make wearing a wire mainstream, the money that they can
just have
make
to
from
make
the
it cool
data
or fresh.
is nuts.
Everything's
Do you
just
not
about
think?
marketing.
Think about the data that they could acquire.
Well,
They're
yeah,
like
dude, these phones are probably listening to everything we're saying right
True.
now.
That's true.
Apple.
yeah, well done. Congrats
But
to
like-
Apple. But they can't
yeah,
sell that
congrats to
data.
Apple.
And you couldn't sell that
They
data.
can probably do something with it. But
Anyway.
I do think just lastly on that, I'm sorry, because this is interesting, right? Like when I met this person, they were wearing a device.
Yeah.
And like I saw the device, I didn't comment on it because I just thought it was probably like a fitness band, right? Like,
Yeah.
And they said like, they brought it up and was like, oh, by the way, like this is like a cool new device. It's like a listening device. And I was like, okay. And they were like, don't worry, it's not on right now. So like, yes, that made me like relax a bit more. Well, at first, when I found out it was a listening device, I was like, what the hell? And then I was told, hey, it's not on. I was like, okay. But I didn't go back to zero. I was still like, wouldn't they? I know they weren't lying, but like,
if you're not being recorded, it's not
but-
like you're gonna like.
but the chance of being mistaken isn't zero.
True.
You know, so now like the possibility of the fact that I am on record has gone from net zero to potentially 1%.
Yeah.
Which is a change, right?
Well, no, 0 to fine. Yeah.
At least 1%, right? But like, and I think that's why I don't think that these things, unless everyone opts in to like you walking, like you and everyone at work all wears them all the time and everyone says it's fine, then yeah. But like, I don't see this becoming a thing.
Okay, I changed my prediction. It will either be like one singular character making this normal, but they will probably enforce it through their business. So it will probably be, I am CEO of said company.
Mm-hmm.
My whole company wears X company's like device
Yeah.
to record all of their conversations in office
Yeah.
during business hours,
Yeah.
even at like lunchtime or like whatever.
Yeah.
And
That'd be so weird.
then you have the case study of my company has become X% more efficient because of these reasons, or because of this company that are listening to my conversations.
True. But
We have a whole database of conversations that are being like hardwired into the core operations into our business, and therefore making them more efficient.
Yeah. But geez, morale would be low. You know, like
You can't crack jokes with your boys.
It's the extinction of water cooler chats.
Yeah,
You know,
it's true.
Who's going to have a chin wag at the coffee machine? I'm not.
So
I'd just be there talking about how much I love the company all the time.
Yeah.
Like,
So do you love this company? Yeah, let's go.
It's
Love
like
this company.
there's It's George Orwell's 1987. That's just like Big Brother watching and listening all the time. Like
Yeah.
I'd just be walking around with a massive smile on my face, both thumbs up in the air, just chanting how much I love our shareholders.
Ronan, Employee of the Year, because he's just always smiling. But there's a
like,
reason.
the workplace would become fake. Like you just hate to be there. You'd have to wear a mask.
Yeah. Exactly. Just before we have our first guest on, leave outdated business banking behind with Airwallex, the all-in-one financial platform built for the pace of modern business. Multi-currency accounts, corporate cards, expense management, online payments, all in one platform. Go to airwallex.com. Shout out to them. Shout out to the bucket hat behind
bucket hat
us,
is
next
so
to our
good.
new coffee machine that we don't turn on when we are live because it's really loud.
A little Nespresso.
But this was made by this coffee machine.
You're
Just
there
gonna
first.
say. I was there first, indeed.
I accidentally waterboarded myself there whilst you were doing that ad read. which is
Good
great.
ad read clip. Anyway,
cool. We can pull this down now.
we can pull this down. We've got one more, but no, two more. But we can go back when we've finished speaking with Eric. Do you want to give a brief update of who Eric is, or should we just wait until he's on the show? What do you want to do?
Yeah, I mean, look, Eric is the CEO and founder of Velocity. We're going to talk about stable coins with Eric. That's going to be the plan. We're going to have a chat about stable coins. He is actually, I mean, I think we have to get these front and center.
Well, no, they will be. They'll be behind us.
But I think
You won't be able to see them.
Oh, yeah. He won't be able to see them.
Because we have. So we now have 3 cameras in the studio.
New camera angles. Yeah.
Let's go. That's what we like to hear.
But yeah, okay. That's fair enough.
Indeed.
I mean, we have so much that I'm not even sure we can get through all this today. I mean, we've just got a backlog since we've
got through 2% of our notes, which is
since we were
silly.
On the break.
Sad that we went live so late. But
I
hey,
know.
the
I'm
game
really
is the
excited
game.
to dig into Lulu's.
It's just such a banger post. Like, it's so good.
We don't have time to do it right now.
We won't have time to do it now.
I mean, we can quickly just talk about before
Eric comes on.
Eric jumps on.
Well, I think actually let's just keep going with the Scott Belskis, and then we'll jump into Lulu's.
Yeah, okay.
I think that's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
So
That sounds good.
Scott Belsky, that was number 7. Now we have number 10. The end of waste will become a new benefit of AI as technology transforms resource utilization and predictive analytics in ways that will materially reduce wastage across industries, curb climate impact, and improve margins. I think he is correct.
I'm just like digesting all of this. Hold
Well,
on.
read it.
The end of waste.
Just read the non-bold
This is number
bit.
10.
Yeah, read the non-bold bit. I just read the bold bit.
Okay. In restaurants and stores to factories of all kinds, the mismatch of supply and demand has always resulted in wastage in the form of excess food gone bad, excess inventory that must be returned or moved, and excess materials to manage. As new AI native tools take over the planning of every industry, predictions will become extremely accurate. Oversupply will be rare, and we'll see a profoundly positive impact in both margins as well as positive environmental impact. I mean, yeah, but I feel like this isn't that new.
I think
this
this is
not,
still
like,
a way
Already,
off.
I guess not in like your mom and pop shops.
I think it's going to happen, but I think it's yeah. Obviously, like the kind of enterprise companies will get in there first, but we're going to see improved efficiency in all levels. Obviously, we know that. It's just we are just not there yet. Like it's a similar question to like, when will we have AGI? Like that's still a way off, in my opinion. And then integrating into every business, like way off. It'll happen.
But, like, this is
It'll happen
definitely-
with the e-commerce companies that are doing hundreds of millions in revenue and valued in the billions, to a small scale, and then they'll scale it up to their full their full stack. But within that time, when they go from kind of like maybe like 5 to 100, that window is when the smaller companies and the mom and pop shops will start to.
We'll maybe have a little.
But I think the hype cycle is like is still like real, worth more things being built that pulls away from like consolidation and efficiency. Like there's still more to go. Like there's still more like hype to go, I think, before we see like efficiency becoming a thing. Is my opinion on this.
Yeah, nice. I think we've got Eric trying to come in.
Do we?
Yeah, can you ask Eric to rejoin video? We just can't see his camera.
Me?
Yeah, if you can ping him.
I will email.
You should email him. But he'll be coming into the stream shortly, which is good. I'm having a look at these predictions. Yeah, they. How many has he done? Oh, only 12. Okay, we basically finished them. That's fine. Yeah, up next, as we said earlier, we've got Eric coming in the house. Eric is CEO and founder of Velocity. We're going to be talking about stable coins and Velocity and what they do. Before we get into that, I just want to tell you about our friends over there at Spectre. I want you to be the reason that your fund was the deal of the decade with Spectre at tryspectre.com. Harness the power of live data and AI-driven analysis to outsmart the competition and make confident decisions in private markets. And while we're here, let me just tell you about our friends over there at Polymarket as well. It's the world's largest prediction market. Stay informed and profit from your knowledge. Go to polymarket.com. Up next, we have Eric Queetham, founder and CEO of Velocity. We're just trying to get him into the stream right now.
Shall we, before we have him in the stream, let's touch on a few bits about upgrades of the stream.
Our upgrades.
Of what we've done.
Yeah.
I think it's worth talking about. So we now have a soundboard. Can we do soundboard? Hey, this guy, wait. It's the shout at the end is great. He just goes, yeah.
I think Eric's waiting to be accepted. Can we just see if he's like queued up into the room? He should be coming on shortly.
A few technical difficulties in the first show.
Yeah, we're a bit rusty actually, I think, from our first show back. Yeah. He joined
I've emailed as well,
video.
so we'll see.
So both links. It's our biggest problem, right? The two link situation. Both video and Riverside.
Yeah, we really need to sort this out.
And then it should be good. Okay, I'm getting news back that his camera looks quite dark.
That's okay. Get him on the stream. We can judge.
I'm just pinging Layla right now, who works with Eric. But he is ready. He's banging on the gates. We've got to let them in.
Producer Marcus, how's it all going? Do we have him in the studio? Is he in? Or are we waiting?
Yeah, he's joined video, and we need to get him into Riverside.
Is he in the waiting room? Sorry about this, viewers.
Riverside as well.
The game's a game. While we continue, let's talk about number 12 was my next one from Scott Belsky. I think is quite interesting. We will see the rise of internal development teams as companies replace single-purpose bloated SaaS products with their own apps that collapse functions in magical ways. Agree. New internal applications development teams will be spawned in large companies, and they'll vibe code tailor-made software and agent-driven solutions for functions around the company. That is true, but now we have Eric in the studio, so I'll continue after this conversation.
Live and direct. It's our first guest of 2026, and it is Eric.
Can I hear Eric?
Founder of Velocity. Just quick audio check. Eric, are you there?
I can hear you guys. Can you hear me?
I also can't hear Eric.
Producer Marcus, hello, Eric. Can you hear us? Can you give us a thumbs up if you can hear us? Okay,
I can hear you guys.
Eric can hear us. That's brilliant. We've got him. He's not live on stream. I don't think his video is showing on stream either.
It's a little bit lagged.
Yeah. Sorry, Eric. Bear with us a second. I think on the stream,
it's on our side, Eric. Don't worry.
On the actual stream, though, it's a black screen. It's not his video isn't going to.
Oh, nice.
The stream. But we can see him here on Riverside. Maybe that's video. I hear him on screen. Bear with us, everybody. I can't hear Eric, no, but
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Sorry, Eric. I know you can hear us. We can't hear you. We're just trying to get this solved.
You're good. You're not yet on the stream, so don't worry about being live.
So on the stream, the viewers can hear Eric, but they just can't see him. It's just a black square where Eric's camera is. These are the joys of live streaming, by the way, folks. You You get to see us through thick and thin. You get to see the real content.
When you're early, you know these things happen. If you're early enough to see these, you are very early. Hopefully, within a year's time, you'll see no technical difficulties like this, and maybe a little bit sooner. 2 weeks, 2 months. If you're early enough, I could hear myself. Now I can't. My stream's on, yeah.
My stream is on, yeah. Kill that. I'll just kill the whole of X.
Just kill it.
Okay, cool.
Oh.
So now is it okay? I'm just checking the stream because I'm not sure if the viewers can see Eric.
I can hear someone. I can hear me.
Can you guys hear me?
Oh, I can hear you.
Eric, I can hear you loud and clear.
All right, we're on.
We are on. I'm just wondering if our
Are we
viewers
actually
can hear,
on the stream?
Sorry, if our viewers can see Eric.
No, we can't see Eric.
That it's just a black screen. The video.
Can you rejoin, Eric? Can you rejoin the video link? Yeah, he's gone.
So sorry, Eric. Could you try and rejoin the video and the riverside? We're not the riverside. Sorry, just the video link. It should be on the Google Calendar. We're just not seeing it displayed on the stream, so we can see you. Everything good. But the video link is the one. I think that's worked. Can we see on? Can you just check?
I'm just checking. It's a little bit lagged.
We're just seeing if the stream can see you, basically.
Okay, I can only see your laptop. Oh, here we go.
Oh, we're good. We're in.
I think we're in.
Oh, wow. Okay, we are back. Eric, so sorry for the delay. We are. The stream can see you. The stream can hear you. We can see you. We can hear you. We are good. Let's get into this because we've missed a bit of time.
Eric, how's it going?
How are you?
I'm great. Happy New Year's. I'm feeling a bit underdressed. I didn't know this was a tuxedo event, so next time I'll come better prepared.
Yeah, we thought we'd dress up for 2026.
We wanted to start 2026 with a bit of style. Our technical difficulties have kind of like sort of eradicated that. So I guess we're starting at zero. I guess like we were one up. Now we're back to even. Let's just dive straight into it. Well, before we do, we want to thank you personally for our amazing bobbleheads that you guys sent into the stream. We've got them, one here, and Luke's is over there. So thank you for that. But let's hear about you, Eric. You know, who are you? What do you do? What is Velocity? And we'll go from there.
Absolutely, and the bobbleheads look great. Hopefully, you can get good use out of them. So, yeah, it's great to be on here. It's great to meet you guys. My name is Eric Queetham. I've been in the payment space for a long time. Spent the better part of my career building at WorldPay, which, if you follow payments closely, you know has been on a roller coaster ride of M&A transactions, buying and selling itself for the last 10 years, and played a big role in that, which was very exciting. But in 2014, decided that it was time to go out on my own, and the stablecoin space and what was happening, coupled with the pace of regulation, which was finally catching up for the ability to use stablecoin and kind of real life use cases in traditional payments, banking, and treasury was too good. And so just about a year ago, stood up Velocity. Velocity is the first stablecoin infrastructure business that is building for global CFOs. We think, you know, when a large corporate or an organization around the world who's operating in a complex environment thinks about a fiat partner, there's a long list of people to go to. You can go to JP Morgan, you can go to Citibank, you can go to HSBC. You know, there's all these big fiat institutions that have established themselves as great partners around the world. That corollary doesn't exist today in stablecoins. If I want to embed stablecoins into my stack and I'm looking for an enterprise-grade partner who can bring me the security, the safety, the scale, the global reach that I get from my fiat partners, it just doesn't exist. And so about a year ago, we set out to build what we think is going to be the world's leading stablecoin infrastructure platform for global CFOs and treasurers.
Wow. That's and it's good timing, right? I mean, another question that I just have as a natural follow-on onto this is like the hype that we're seeing in the past. I mean, I think you set this up pre-recent hype cycle, I think. Can you maybe just talk about that, like the hype in the stablecoins in 2025, and like why all of a sudden are we all talking about this again? Because I feel like they kind of came in, in a cyclical way that everyone knows that crypto is, but like it seems to have a big resurgence where like a lot of trusted enterprise, maybe more traditional businesses are even thinking about it?
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. That being said, I think we're still very, very early in the cycle of what stablecoins can do in terms of changing the way all of these different payment and banking modalities work around the world. I think for me, stablecoins were really invented as an asset to support the Web3 world, largely around trading, right? Because if I want to go buy a digital asset, I want to buy something on chain, there was no mechanism early on to exchange the value of fiat into whatever asset I wanted to buy. And so there needed to be this intermediary step, right? And that was really kind of the early application for stablecoins. And I think, the large issuers around the world, whether that's Circle or Tether, created this, very phenomenal product which solved for that kind of original use case. It really wasn't until about maybe 18 months ago that other people around the world, as regulations started to catch up, started to say, hey, actually there's other applications that I might be interested in leveraging stablecoins for. And so we've started to see a little bit of that. And I think in 2025, probably off the back of the Stripe Bridge acquisition, which happened, the previous October and closed early last year, was a bit of a wake-up call, which is, if one of the best payment companies in the world actually thinks there's a there related to stablecoins, maybe we should all pay attention and figure out what's there. And I think that was the first big step that kind of opened the eyes. I think the reality is there's still, despite the big numbers that are being thrown around, whether it's transaction volume, total stablecoins in circulation, there's still de minimis relative to kind of the global scale of commerce and how money moves around the world. And so I think we're very early. I think what's exciting about 2026 is because that foundation has been laid, I think 2026 is where you'll start to see stablecoins actually take advantage of that foundation and move into real life use cases. These are companies who don't have crypto and Web3 teams who are now saying, hey, I'm comfortable given all the things that have happened, what I know, I'm comfortable even though I don't have a team who kind of builds in the space and has been thinking about it for multiple years. I'm willing to work with vendors like Velocity and others who will actually bring me the benefit of these capabilities. And so I think we've crossed this next big hurdle where I think you're going to see another exponential growth curve in just normal businesses who, a couple of years ago would laugh you out of the room if you said you wanted to sell them anything that was, on chain, now saying, hey, I see the benefits and I'm ready to buy.
Yeah, I was going to ask about the like real world cases, and it's a nice way to kind of segue into that. Can you kind of give examples of like how you guys at Velocity are going to be kind of employing that from like now to the end of 26? Like, where do you see that kind of changing? As you mentioned, like there's now a ton of opportunity to go and do that. The market is now ripe to kind of move on. You've crossed the hurdle. Now it becomes the next kind of hill to climb, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think for us, we kind of think about our product in three main categories. The first is pretty straightforward, which is payments. Today, you want to pay another business, you want to execute a payout to a consumer, you want to move money largely cross-border, which is where the opportunity is because you're arbitraging FX as well as the timing or the pre-funding cost of getting money somewhere in order to execute that payment. So that's kind of number one, and I think there's a lot of people doing that kind of application is largely taking from traditional payment players who are kind of serving the market in a fiat landscape today. The second for us is all around treasury management. When you think about a large business that's operating in 20, 30, 50, 100 countries around the world, what a lot of people don't realize is these companies have thousands of bank accounts, if not tens of thousands of bank accounts. They have loads of different entities, they have different business lines, and so they're collecting fiat all around the world in a bunch of different currencies. And treasury operations, particularly for a low margin business, is an incredibly strategic part of the organization. And the ability to now take some of that complexity off of local banking partners where you're often subscale given it's maybe a small portion of your revenue, move that fiat on chain and control it programmatically, consistently earning yield and rewards while also integrating it back into the way you manage your financial operations today is incredibly powerful. And so we're working on some pretty cool treasury solutions and working with some pretty big companies around the world to optimize that treasury aspect. And then the third piece for us is what I call the back end of payments. There's a lot of last mile movement that happens after a consumer transaction or a B2B transaction that for most people in the world, they've never kind of seen the complexity of that, the timing, the FX charges, just the kind of guts of how the last mile of payments work. And we think blockchain now poses a really huge opportunity to fundamentally change the back end of transactions. When you think about the best payments companies in the world, you never hear any of them talk about, oh, the way we settle or our FX rates on the back end. They talk about all the beautiful front end stuff they've built, their APIs, their fraud and risk tooling, their integrations to other third-party solutions. But actually, I think the value is on the back end, and that's another and kind of the third product line that we're serving in the market.
Nice. Like similar area, but talking about like sentiment for the market as well. I think in parallel that also brings like fundraising opportunities into it, and like how are how are venture teams looking at the space in 2025/2026? What is it like? What does the fundraising environment for these types of businesses look like? Because I think we had was it Pedro Gomez is the founder of Wallet Connect on a few weeks back, and like. We didn't really get too much into the fundraising environment with them, but I'd be keen to understand what does it look like? So I'm assuming it is slightly different to traditional SaaS venture or whatever, right? Like, is it from an outsider's perspective? It does kind of look like it is also cyclical. Like I think in these conversations that I have, it's usually that Bitcoin is kind of acting as like an ETF to sentiment for everything related to crypto in the market.
It's either like everyone's on or like everyone's off, right?
But I think everyone who's like non-native.
Yeah.
I think, which is like, I guess just us chasing hype, basically, is what we're trying to say. We're hype chasers. But I'd love to hear from your side. Like, what does the fundraising environment look like in like Web3 and crypto?
Yeah, I think you really have to segment stablecoins specifically within Web3. I do think that cyclicality that you see is tied to kind of the broader industry. I think stablecoins have largely detached themselves from that. I think because they've proven the kind of both the kind of safety, security, regulatory support, they're now in almost a class of their own. And I think anybody who's building in the stablecoin space, particularly those who I think, like Velocity, you have the ability to move into TradFi, like to go capture TradFi economics versus just serving traditional Web3 customers, I think are pretty highly, favored. We've been around for about just about 8 months. We've raised $18 million in that first 8 months, which I think is, one of the largest kind of raises in Europe, certainly. And I think that talks a lot to just the sentiment in the market, the excitement. We still get a ton of inbound. We'll probably raise another round, at some point early this year. And so there's a lot of investors who realize, stablecoins is going to be one of those kind of generational or transformative leaps in terms of the back-end infrastructure of payments, banking, and treasury. And so everybody wants to deploy capital in the space. I think the problem is we're so early in the life cycle, there's not a lot of big assets to be deploying capital into. And so we're getting inbound from, private equity firms who have traditionally been, value investing. And now they're saying, well, I own a bunch of value assets and I'm worried those value assets are going to get destroyed by stablecoins. I think I want to place a VC bet into the stablecoin space to kind of protect my investment, right? And so you're seeing a set of investing behavior that I think is incredibly unique. And so I think it's an exciting time to be here. That being said, there's a ton of people building. There's going to be a lot of, probably similar to open banking and some of these other thematic things that have happened over the last decade. There'll be a lot of people who start building early on. And I think, there'll be a lot of separation pretty quickly in terms of businesses that can scale and can actually operate in the space and win some of those TradFi economics versus those that kind of fizzle out or consolidate.
Yeah, with those like PE firms kind of coming to you and inbounding you guys for investment for like the VC play, one that's like really cool and like super interesting. Do you see like when you're choosing like people to kind of come onto your cap table and invest in the company, are you being strategic about it in terms of, okay, these guys have these guys in their portfolio, these companies in their portfolio, this is how I could potentially help them, and it's a line into like, it's almost like a business development like play for you guys as much as it is like, equity and money for driving, change and innovation and technical innovation within the company?
Absolutely. I think, every dream of an early company is to get backed by somebody who's got a portfolio and a bunch of portcos that can immediately buy the product. I think because of where we are in the stablecoin lifecycle, that's a reality for a lot of potential businesses within these large, either VCs or PE shops. And so, yeah, I think that's really interesting to us. We're having lots of conversations about those. I think, some of the folks we bring on the cap table over the next 12 months will fit that profile. And they'll be looking to place a bet and pick a winner in the space because it's really important for their portfolio. Not because it's a procurement activity. It's really transformative, which I think is a very different lens than what they're traditionally thinking about in terms of taking something they buy and pushing it into their portfolio.
Yeah. I think we've got time for maybe one more. You've kind of touched on it already, but your and Velocity's view on the value of stable coins, just high level thesis, right? Where will the value be created most? I think when we spoke to the team before the share, we were looking at, is it issuers, liquidity partners? What's your take on that?
Yeah, I think what's cool about what stablecoins are doing is they're redefining the value chain. When you think about particularly a traditional consumer payment, the value largely flows to the issuer, the person who's issuing the card credentials. Obviously, the networks, Visa, MasterCard, sit within that flow and consume a lot of economics. And then the acquirer, the one who's kind of orchestrating that on behalf of the merchant, is a bit of a bottom feeder, right? They're sitting at the end of the value chain, picking up the pennies off the floor and hoping to kind of, maintain a little bit of margin with that transaction. I think stablecoins are going to fundamentally change kind of the economics, and I think the value is actually going to shift the other way. And the companies that are issuing the wallets, so whether that's a custodial, non-custodial wallet, that infrastructure and that kind of issuing part of it is far less interesting. I think the value is going to be on the other end, right? How do you orchestrate all of the different L1s and L2s, all the different stable coins, all the security, all of the risk and compliance requirements that exist to move money around the world? And when you bring that together, I think that's where the value gets created in kind of this world. And so I think you're going to see this big flip. I think it's part of why you've seen brilliant moves by Visa and MasterCard to, move into the space early and figure out how they not only protect, but also expand. And I think there's opportunities for existing players to expand or kind of see multiple, or just kind of absolute basis point growth and what they get out of a payment because the economics are fundamentally changing.
Yeah. Okay, that's awesome. I mean, we're out of time. We're already a minute over. We'll have to run this back because I'm cautious of our.
If you're raising more money, you got to come back.
We'll come see you soon. I'll be in a tux. We'll announce our Series C live. And we'll have bigger bottleheads for you guys.
We want to see life size.
I want it next to me here.
Yeah, we can put them in the middle. Dude, thank you so much for coming on and chatting with us, man. We really
Thanks, Eric. You're awesome.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Good stuff.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye. Ciao.
Awesome stuff. Quick word from our sponsor, Spectre. Be the reason your fund wins the deal of the decade with Spectre. Go to tryspectre.com. Next on the show, who do we have? We got
Maxime. He's coming in.
Maxime Berthelot.
Basically right now.
He should be coming on now.
Do you want to drop him a note?
Yeah. I think he...
Do you have him on WhatsApp or no? Was it email?
Nah, email.
Nice. We got Maxime. I'm gonna pronounce this. I think it's Berthelot.
Yeah, Berthelot.
Co-founder and CEO of Lucis. So they've raised 8.5 million seed round led by General Catalyst with participation from Y Combinator, Kima Ventures, Motia Ventures, Circle.co, and North South Ventures. It's preventative healthcare is the headline for this one. Which is going to be really interesting. Building out of Paris. As everyone knows, the Paris ecosystem is something that is close to my heart. The Parisian ecosystem, after my tenure at French unicorn Pigment, who are still killing it, actually. And funnily enough, guest later today, Stefan, an old colleague from the days of Pigment. But look, while we wait for Max to jump on, I want to tell you about our newest sponsor. It's Polymarket. It's the world's largest prediction market. I want you to stay informed and profit from your knowledge. Go to polymarket.com in order to do all of that.
Indeed.
How are we looking with?
He'll join when we He'll join at some point. I think we should continue. I'm going to continue talking about the last Scott Belsky prediction, the rise in internal development teams as companies replace single-purpose bloated SaaS products with their own apps that collapse functions in magical ways. We've talked about the barnacle on the whale narrative / thing that is going on in the market. Obviously, you've got all of these hyperscalers, and there is some form of boom happening. And therefore, it creates these smaller companies that are leveraging that growth, and that is AI. So it's going to happen. I think there's a lot of companies that are going to be either swept up by the larger companies trying to build internal teams. That'll be an acqui-hire play, as we mentioned earlier. But also, some will die. I think it's going to be the classic case of some will die, some will be acquired. And everything will be built in-house that is tailored. Yeah. It's the stop generalizing stuff now. It's now, what is the tailored solution that is going to be, it's just a higher ROI. If you bring them in-house, you pay them on a salaried basis, give them a bit of equity. Yeah. It's higher ROI because they're in-house building for you, and you can build whatever you like.
So what's cool on that is I remember...
You have control.
I remember... it was probably like a year ago I saw it, but it was a quote again from Naval. I think it was an interview that he did in like 2019 or 2020, where like fairly like, a while ago, where he says that like he thinks a future trend will no longer be, these large bloated teams, but you would have like, like think about who in your network who's like the best graphic designer. Who do you think in your network is the best like go-to-market person? Who's the best, like operations, like chief of staff type thing? And like those people will like seek each other out and become like a sort of rentable like trio, like a SWAT team almost of efficiency and execution, which I think is quite cool. I'm not sure we're like quite there. I mean, this is like consultancy in a way, but it's like not a consultancy. I mean, it kind of is just a consultancy, I suppose. But his argument was that like to trim the fat, you're just going to see more like leaner, like cracked SWAT team individuals coming into startups and
building their thing.
Like doing that. But like that's their thing that they're sick at. Yeah. So let's just get them in to do the thing they're good at, and like we can just focus on top level. Looking forward for the business.
Agree. I believe we have Maxime in.
Max
I
in the house.
Hear Maxime.
Hello.
Might be struggling with volume again. I can't hear him.
Video. Maxime, can you hear us?
Yes.
He can hear us.
He can hear us. We can't hear Maxime.
We can't hear him.
Hey,
it's
we'll make it work, Maxime. We've had some.
It's the first day back curse.
difficulties.
Yeah, just give us 1 minute. Yeah, he's. I think I'm just trying to see. Oh, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Could you hear me?
Yes, yes, we can hear you.
All right.
We're already trimming down the technical difficulty time. That was probably like a 90%.
Okay, perfect. I didn't get the memo on the tuxedo, guys. So I tried to dress properly for the occasion.
We appreciate it.
We should have sent a memo out, didn't we?
Yeah, we should have said.
We should have
said to our guests, wear a tux.
Max, I'm so sorry for just like, it's like when your friend arrives at the party. It's like your friend's arrived at the party and they've only just found out his black tie.
Yeah, it's always worse being underdressed than overdressed, right?
We're so sorry to do that to you, Max.
Hey.
That's our bad. Why don't we get stuck in? Why don't we get stuck into this?
Should we have an intro so everyone knows who you are, and then we can go from there?
Yes. Okay. Cool. Shall I go?
Go for it.
You're live.
Okay. So thanks for having me. I'm Max. I'm the CEO of Lucy. And for the past 20 years, I try to fix my own health, by reading all the books, watching all the YouTube videos, all the shows I can, and following every advice that's never like quite connected. So we built Lucy, like the platform I wish existed back in the day. And what we do is like we use blood work and AI supervised by doctors to give you like super personalized recommendation and help you like understand your bodies and stay healthy for longer. So that's what we do.
Okay,
Boom.
that's
Love that.
awesome. I think we've. I don't
You
think
just
we've-
raised a round, right? You just raised
Yes.
8.5 million, right?
Yes, 8.5 million.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
When,
Yeah, thank
let's
you.
talk about the raise. Like, when was the raise? We've seen the lineup of investors that you have on the cap table, and it's beautiful. It's like some amazing names, some friends of the show on there as well. Could you maybe talk about the raise process? Like, what's the environment looking like for the like preventative measures?
Yeah, it's very. So first, the raise happened at the end of YC. We joined YC Y Combinator. The spring batch, it was April to June. So we raised at the end of June, and now we're back in Paris. We're focusing on Europe. So we are building that health OS, preventive health OS for European. We are available in France, in UK, Ireland, and Portugal, and we're aiming for like the entire European countries. We raised with General Catalyst, and they have a strong thesis around like healthcare and how to improve healthcare system with preventative health. And I think there's a massive shift in Europe happening right now, because people realize that the healthcare system is reactive, and people are really craving for like preventive health solution, trying to understand before problem arise, and that's where we are, like that's what we're building with Lucy, right?
Yeah. Do you want to go? I have one.
I was going to say we were reading Scott Belsky's predictions, and one of them was about healthcare and predictive and like routine blood testing. And he said, as health wearables, routine blood testing increasingly accessible, preventative body scans and AI health coaches proliferate the population. Humans will have materially more insight and impact over their own health. And it's like exactly what you guys are kind of like going for. I wanted to talk about the GTM side of you, because I read that you guys are like doing partnerships with labs. Is it like more of that play where it's like a partnership play, or is it also you guys could become like, I guess, a Whoop type GTM like model, right?
No. So today, what we do is like piecing together like all the labs networks in Europe. So every time we open in new countries, we do a partnership with the lab networks. We have Eurofins in France. We have Randox in the UK, where we partner with them. So people have to like go to the labs, because we want to have the best clinician lab test. The quality of the lab is really important to us. The quality of how you get the blood and how you analyze it. So that's why we partner with lab. We don't do like at-home test kit or things like that. It's really important, and the quantity of the blood is also pretty impressive. It's like you have between 15 to like 20 tubes on your first test, so it's pretty impressive for people. So you can't do that at home, right? So we partner with great labs, and yeah, that's how the model works. And then we get the data, and we do all the things after we get the data.
Okay, this is cool. So I'd love to know that in more detail, right? So let's say I want to go ahead and do this. Like, what's the process from start to finish? Like, I go onto the website. Like, how does it work? Like,
yeah. So you go on our website, lucy.life. You sign up. It's a subscription. It's like 490 euros. It's a little bit less in pounds. And you sign up for your labs appointment. You find the closest labs to your place. You go in the morning. You go do your lab work, and then we get the results a couple of days after. We'll get the data. We'll process that into our AI stacks. It's supervised by clinicians, and we gonna match your data with we ask you a lot of questions around your context, your personal context, what's your routine, what you eat, what you exercise, etc., etc. And based on that, we also connect your wearables, and based on that, we'll make sense of your data, and we extract some actionable insights, and we'll give you an action plans to improve your markers, to improve your life, to improve your health on a daily basis. And we'll do recommendation around nutrition, exercise, supplementation, mental health, and sleep. And that's what we do. And then we retest you after 6 months. So we do see how like your markers evolve, and we do see the trends, because it's super, like in health, it's super important to look at, not only look at one of tests, but on a long term how your body evolve. So that's what we do.
That sounds awesome. And like, but something that jumps to mind is like, this space is, I think that like the whole world is becoming more health conscious, especially from like the demographic that would probably want to look into what you're doing, which is I'd probably say like maybe like 18 to 33 would probably like be, maybe slightly wider. I don't know.
You're in our target. You're in our target.
I'm sold. I'm ready. I'm ready to go. But like, I think it's there's like a wider picture I think that we can look at where it's like, and I kind of like, I'm not sure if like short form content was the thing that kind of distributed this or like catalyzed this movement, but like everyone's a lot more health conscious. Like we've discussed it on the show before, where you see more people signing up to like half marathons, for example. They're usually like oversubscribed in like some of the local towns here in London. I think drinking in sort of Gen Z is declining to a point in which it won't return back to previous highs. I think if you go into pubs now, there's a very broad selection of non-alcoholic beers and alcohols. That wasn't the case 6 years ago or 5 years ago. You know, like they would maybe have one non-alcoholic random beer in the fridge that no one wanted, but like now you'll have like Guinness Zero, you'll have like Heineken Zero, you'll have like Lucky Saint, you'll have all these different things. And I do think that it's part of this shift. I mean, Brian Johnson is someone who comes to mind as like, not the king of the shift, but he's kind of like the main guy in the preventative space, maybe alongside like Peter Attia, perhaps. He has a great book called Outlive, by the way. What do you think of Brian? Like, I'd love to know, like, has he done great work for the space, or do you see him as like a loony?
No, we love Brian. I think to rephrase what you said is like Brian was the sparkle of the revolution. I think there was something boiling for years, and people were really conscious about their health more and more. There was COVID, and then like suddenly people started to look at their health with different angles, and we started to look at like alcohol and like sugar and like all these stuff. And Brian Johnson was the sparkle. He was like really good in terms of like making things super like over the media, over the trends, and talking about health, talking about how to improve your health, how to like challenge the status quo on like we always seen our parents or grandparents like being less healthy as they age, and now with Brian Johnson, we're like challenging that vision, right? You're starting to understand, okay, this guy is almost 50 and he looks like a 30 years old guy. So it's super impressive, right? Yeah. And so I think Brian Johnson was super helpful in that way. And he was even more helpful than Peter Attia or Huberman, because he was sharing his own data. And I think what people like about him was he was applying his own precepts. He was like really sharing the data, sharing like his progress, like what he was like doing on a daily basis, and it was really helpful for people. So I think he is really helpful in that shift. And as you say, the younger generation, they drink less alcohol, they do like run clubs, they do stuff like that, and it's super exciting to witness that, right?
Yeah, that's so true. I forgot Brian, Huberman as well, like absolute legend.
Yeah, even earlier as well, probably.
Yeah.
I wanted to like jump into talking a little bit more about like the personalization side. So you guys have like a dashboard, right, where each customer has all of their results and how they're doing and everything else. We were talking about how in 26 the kind of biggest thing is going less like general to kind of more like personalized. That can be company specific in terms of, more company specific solutions, but also like personalized solutions for people. Where do you see like the biggest shift for you guys? Obviously, you want to scale over Europe, and you've kind of got almost like, you've got two customers in the fact that you've got, the people actually using the product, and finding the insights, but then also the labs as well. Where do you see you guys fitting into that kind of like narrative of like, less general, more personalized kind of solutions for people?
Yeah, I think so AI was the shift as well for like preventative health, I would say, because thanks to AI today, we can do things that we were not able to do like 5 years ago. So we can do this personalization that you're talking about because we had more than 3,000 customers, by the way, and these 3,000 customers has been served with only a team of 5 doctors, and all action plans and all has been reviewed by our medical team. And we wouldn't have been able to do that 5 years ago without AI. So that's why I think like the shift today, as you say, like we were talking about personalization for years, but now is the right time because AI made that possible. So I think like in the future, we're seeing the market like going through like more prevention. We're shifting like and in France, it's probably like the market is probably a little bit different in the UK than in France, but we also witness that in Europe, the healthcare system is like having some troubles, right? And is reactive. And people like really, really get informed with AI, with ChatGPT, with doctors, with like they want more than just like being reactive and treating disease when they appears, right? So that's where we're seeing the markets going is like more personalization thanks to what we're doing. And that's why we started with the blood, because I think that was the most underutilized let's say compound that you can provide to people in Europe. Like there was no way in France or in some European countries that you could get like a blood work easily at the local labs, right? And that's what we're making easier for people is like we choose the list. You don't have to think about the list. You don't have to think about the analysis because sometimes you go to see your GP, you get a blood work checkups, and you don't know what to do with the results, right? You get this PDF, and it doesn't make any sense, and that's what we're transcribing this like complicated data into like super actionable insights. So that's where I'm seeing like the preventative health markets going. I think it's going to explode, and every European needs that, and that's why we're building Lucy.
Yeah, that's so interesting because the US is like, I think the US is more of a thing to do like personalized blood work, and I assume there's quite a few companies doing the same. How is the competitive kind of landscape in Europe? Is it really competitive, or is it just like you guys are one of few? And I think if you can take over Europe on this, like it is going to boom. I agree.
That's our goal. That's our ambition. So definitely. So I would say that the European market today, in terms of like preventative health and blood checkups, we are where the US were like 3 to 4 years ago. Yeah. So there's no much competition. There's a few like startups. We're probably the most well-founded, I would say, and I think it's going to be a play of execution, super fast, quickly expanding across Europe and taking the market. Like in the US, we can compare to like what Function Health did. They did an amazing job. They're the number one on the US market today. They valued 2.5 billion in 3 years, by the way. So that's the order of magnitude of the market there. So I think the European market is even bigger. So yeah, that's we are like 3 to 4 years behind.
That's exciting. Is it just like one lab per like country? You mentioned that you guys have secured Randox here. Are you looking for other labs in the UK, or is it like, okay, sweet, we've got Randox, don't have to like, get any more?
Yes. So definitely, we're always on the lookout for like labs networks because we always want to improve the tests we do. And we started with the blood, by the way, but we are expanding. We already have the wearables data, and we have the microbiome test. We have like a food intolerance test, and we are also like adding more like full body IRM or like DEXA scan or stuff like that. So we want to move move to every health data point. That's why we are like building this preventative health OS, is like really like about making sense of any health data points that you have, and we make intelligence of that, I would say. So yeah, so that's the ambition and how we see. But the European labs networks are really different than in the US. In the US, there are like big lab networks across the country, and you just have to like do a deal with one of them, and you expand across the US. And in Europe, it's really different. You have to go country by country, and you have to negotiate deals in each countries and piece all the labs network together.
Yeah, defo.
That's awesome.
Doing
That's so
God's work, dude.
interesting. It was,
look, so good to have you on. Thank you so much. Yeah, we'll have to get you on at the end of 26 to see how it's all gone.
Yeah, and you have to do your Lucy test. I'll send you some links.
Yeah, dude, please get it over here. I'm
We'll
ready.
see how healthy.
I want to see your. Yeah, I want to see your biological age.
Mine's
This guy is like
be-
40.
Oh, yeah,
my body's
let's do
breaking
that.
down, Max. My shoulder's gone, my knee's gone, my back's gone, everything's gone.
Okay, I'll send you some links. Thanks, guys, for
Yeah.
having me.
Cheers, dude.
Cheers, man.
Have a good one.
Great
mate.
to meet you.
Great to meet you.
Cheers.
Amazing stuff.
that's so
We have
funny.
10 minutes, but just leave outdated business banking behind with AirWallets.
Get behind you with
The all-in-one
AirWallets.
financial platform built for the pace of modern business, multi-currency accounts, corporate cards, expense management, and online payments, all in one platform. Go to airwallets.com. They're killers. We love them. Next on the show, we
Got
have
Lawrence
the late
Lundy
comer.
Bryan, general partner at Cloudberry VC. It is Europe's first dedicated semiconductor VC.
Indeed. Let's go to Lulu Cheng's
Yes, finally.
post. This is a gangster post
can
and
share
something
this.
that we believe is very, very correct. Would you like to read it out, or should
This-
I?
I would love to read this one out, please, if you don't mind.
I actually sent you this, whatever, when it was posted, and on WhatsApp, and then I just put underneath like you're going to love this.
Dude, it was
I just
already
knew- I knew it was- yeah.
on the show notes when
Yeah,
you
yeah.
sent it me, and like so that just means we're in sync, which is good. Always
always good.
always want to be in sync. By the way, just when you're starting a new year, you just need to be in sync.
Yeah, indeed.
Okay, standing out in 2026. Oh, just the hook on the start of this.
Just read it out.
I'm sorry. Everything is fake now. Fake content by fake influencers with fake engagement from fake followers launching fake products with fake testimonials. A
Potemkin.
Potemkin village on a global scale, a glossy facade propped up by heaps and heaps of beige slop. Timu for content. In this world, the real has never been more precious, refreshing, special, rare. What stands out are real people building real things that actually matter through real discipline and effort with real outcomes in the real world. The definitions will soon blur. The line between real and artificial is dotted and only getting dottier. But today we still know the difference, and that difference becomes narrative alpha. A quick recap and then I'll explain. In 2024, the biggest opportunity for comms was going direct. We've seen this with the rise of things like us, TBPN, A16Z's amazing work on their new media side. But in 2024, the biggest opportunity for comms was going direct. At the beginning of that year, most CEOs still relied on outdated or outright hostile intermediaries like traditional media. The shift began with desperados and contrarians who were fed up with gatekeepers. But the early adopters showed that going direct had way more reward than risk, and it soon became the default. In 2025, the din of direct goers turned into cacophony as even the stodgiest of companies started factory farming for CEO content and storytelling. The edge now came from winning attention primarily through video. Cue the avalanche of corporate podcasts and cinematic launch videos. Some built quality, dedicated audiences, while others, in blind Icarian pursuit of engagement, went the way of talk tour. Oh, so good. And so true. I think I don't know, you just there's more, and we can get to it with some of these narrative pieces, but I do think the winner of this movement is X. I think everything is converging onto X. I think in terms of if you want to speak to your customers, if you want to speak to your community, if you want to speak to your followers, and maybe
town hall
less so
tech.
for Yeah, less so for like Instagram influencers, right? If it's like lifestyle stuff, maybe it's more suited for
I don't know. There's some of
for Instagram.
lifestyle accounts. But
Yeah, but yeah. But it's less like, it is obviously like photo and / video themed. I guess it's just tech themed as well. But like, I just feel that everything is converging onto X. I feel that like it's also a good way for like the I'm trying to think of the great word, not like the mob, but like the masses. Like the masses decide what's good, what's bad, what's not fair, what's not right. Like we see it with so many stuff where like we saw it recently with like a dad who asked, you might have seen this, it went viral, like a dad who asked like, is he not a good dad for he's so focused on work, he doesn't enjoy spending time with his child.
Yeah.
And like, if he speaks to his mates at the pub or like blah, 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 like maybe the conversation is going to be quite biased. But like people
also a small sample size.
Yeah. Too small a sample size, right? So he posted about it and he was super honest. He was super open. And like the response was like, this guy kind of sucks. And then he came back and was like, hey, I've read all the comments. Like I've learned from what you guys are saying. Like I realized that I have these areas of my life to improve on. And everyone was like, oh, dude, fair play. Like, yeah, you were kind of coming across like not a great person, but you've taken on what we've said.
Yeah.
And like, now you're going to work on being a better dad. And it's like, it's almost like you can use the mob. You can use this like invisible.
You can extract value when and if you want to.
Because you can just like, you can just get like, I don't know what the word is. Just like you can strip away all the falseness. Like you get to, something gets decided. It's like you're in a public court, kind of like a kangaroo court in a way, because it is like on, there's a lot of anonymous people on there. But I think you do get to the truth of what the thing is. I think.
Yeah. Well, if you hit a high enough sample size, it's obviously it's obvious when people are trolling sometimes, but sometimes it's not. But if you hit a high enough sample size, i.e. your post does like well enough numbers and you're asking for advice, you can rely on that advice. And you can see what's, not correct and what is correct.
Yeah. Well, the mob decides.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
I love that. I love that the mob decides that. But I mean, it's kind of dangerous sometimes as well. But just a few things on here as well from Lily's post. So like in 2026, narrative alpha will come from doing real things. What does that mean? Putting in real effort to create beautiful, durable things that exhibit taste and craftsmanship with zero tolerance for slop. As Thomas Paine wrote during the American Revolution, what we obtain too cheaply, we esteem too lightly. It is dearness only that gives us everything its value. And I think again we're seeing this convergence to this world of like anti-slop. Like this all seems to be born out of the anti-slop movement, where it's like we can no longer. Yes, it was cool. Yes, it was great to chuck a prompt in.
People still love like slop is getting less slop.
It's getting less
people still
sloppy,
like it.
to be
Like there's still obviously like a. It's not like there's a really high dislike for slop in terms of like posts still go viral for like a good reason. Like it's still funny when all the stuff happened recently in politics. It was everything about the slop kind of went viral. Like that was the funny bit. Everyone liked it, and like they were like, yeah, this is good. Like it's not like. You're being shunned for.
No, you can meme off it. Like it's good for the meme world.
Yeah,
it's good for that. But I do think that like we can't. Yeah. It's harder to appreciate good work because I still think it's a giveaway. Like you can still tell when something's been AI'd. Like we're not there yet where it passes like the Turing test of will it prove to be like will it pass for a human work or will it fool a human that it is not AI work? I don't think we're there yet. But like I think that like. This is coming back to, and people are catching on, right? We're seeing that just the other day, Jack and Jill and Lovable hosted a founding graphic designer dinner.
Yeah.
I've never seen one of those before.
Rogue.
That's new. I think it's great. I think it's a great idea. I've never seen one of those before, but it shows that like people are starting to care about authenticity, about brand, about and then the founder of Freight, like the accelerator kind of hacker house type thing. I think they're in Berlin or Stockholm. I'm not sure exactly which one. Looking for a chief propaganda officer, which is I think, an awesome role just to literally film everything.
Yeah.
Film everything and like have it all, you know, like so it's authentic, so they can see like the like behind the scenes.
Like build your narrative. I think the big thing from Lulu's post or Lulu's article was it's at the bottom. It says these are not always the things that will get the most engagement or clicks, and that's okay. I love the big viral moments as much as anyone, but virality is never worth sacrificing quality, dignity, or taste. Most importantly, doing something once isn't enough. Real narratives take 6, 12, 18 months to build. They require sustained effort and consistency and patience. There are no shortcuts, but it's worth it. It's exactly that. Like a chief propaganda officer filming everything. It's like you're giving the opportunity for someone to build a real narrative around the company brand that you're building.
Yeah. 100%.
It creates the opportunity. So yeah, 100% you're going to see this, and the ones that win build the real narrative around what they're doing.
Yeah. And it's like,
I think it provides the opportunity for everyone to pass judgment what's the word? Like pass judgment in like I know this is the right thing to say because I know I know the narrative, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Authenticity.
Yeah. Like authentic, because you know, and you know that they're authentic, you can pass judgment, whether it's positive or negative. It doesn't, it doesn't matter. It's like, I know that I can pass this judgment because I can see that narrative.
Yeah.
It's authentic.
Yeah.
It's not just, as Luli said, it's not just like things that go viral.
Yeah.
You can't pass judgment necessarily on that's true. You don't know.
Yeah. And I think that like this is...
It's like when, as you mentioned, that dad going viral, people didn't realize that he was actually like, people said, "Oh, you're not a good guy, whatever."
Yeah.
But
they
then actually, when
they were like the mob.
Yeah. So it went viral.
Went for him.
Yeah. It went viral.
Went for him.
And now, when he's said the other stuff and actually built the narrative, fine, it didn't take 12, 16 months or whatever, or 18 months, but he's provided context.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, "Oh, okay, you are actually like a good guy."
I mean, the sentiment was still pretty bad, to be fair. Actually.
Okay, fine.
They still kind of hated him. He got ridiculed. He was
fair enough.
He got torn apart. But that aside, bless him. I hope he's all right. Something that like I think is high level on this that like we didn't touch on specifically, but we kind of did, and we can touch on it later with like the DoorDash story as well. But like this like. And Luli mentioned it in terms of like, I think a good trend for this year is accessing like proof of work, like work done. Like as she mentions here, like it's the fact that it took a human a lot of time to do the thing that unlocks some of its beauty in a way.
It's even the shift away from like CVs, right? It's like, yeah, great, you've done this, in terms of like you can write that on paper. But proof of work, which is, you can show proof of work online,
like a thing.
right? They are like, they obviously are like for traditional businesses, but I guess like if I was if I was a CEO of a venture backed company, I would be hiring off vibes as much as like,
or their like profile, their
status,
like I guess online persona.
Yeah.
But is that
depending on whether they have one or not? But like that's proof of work. Like if I can see, if I'm hiring, I don't know, for an engineering role and they have like 12,000 followers on X and they built like apps or something, like they've they've built this app that helps people get off their phone or something like that, whatever. And they've like done it live. Like that's obviously like great proof of work. You can say that on a CV, but actually creates a narrative behind it.
No, I hear that. I agree with it. We can pull this down.
CVs
now.
out.
Just checking on
work
our
progress
next guest. Can we? We're not sharing, are we? I'm not sharing the X thing anymore. Cool.
What's up? Do we have next guest coming on?
We do. Yes, we need to.
We need to tell them.
We need to get the
video.
I'm on it. We can do that.
Lawrence's details.
Because Cool. He'll be
Lawrence.
coming in a sec. Yeah, done.
Cool. Just a quick word from our sponsor, Polymarket, the world's largest prediction market. Stay informed and profit from your knowledge. Polymarket, they'll be there. They're our newest sponsor. We love them. They're awesome. They're killing the game. They are literally the world's largest prediction market.
Yep.
It's all good. All good in the hood.
Profit from your knowledge. It's pretty good. Pretty good setup.
You can.
That's me.
I think. Are we good? Okay, one.
Yeah, we're
one
good.
second.
We're good.
He's
We're
in.
just getting loaned up.
He's coming in. So
I
Lawrence is the first dedicated semiconductor VC. Is it just in
Yeah.
Europe or is that in the world?
I'm not sure. Maybe European.
I want to know if like there's obviously obvious hurdles in like the AI like race where it was first chips, then it was like semiconductors, now it's like energy. It's moving up the stack. He's still in the middle. There's obviously semiconductors like to be built, but I want to know what his like thesis is around all of this.
Yeah, I wanna get into it with him. I don't know what. Is it
But
like?
we don't know where he is, so that's.
Yeah, I've just dropped him a note now.
Oh, here we go.
I think he's coming in. Lawrence, can you hear us?
We can't hear Lawrence.
Okay, we can't hear you.
Yep, we can hear Lawrence.
Yeah, we can. We're just checking if the stream can see you as well.
Yeah, is it
But we don't know where he is.
I think we'll come onto the stream in a second. I'm just reacting. Okay, yeah, I think that's good to go. Lawrence, you can hear us and we can see you. And okay, no, you're live. It's worked perfectly. No problems this time.
Let's go.
I was worried.
don't know where he is.
I think we'll Lawrence, how are you doing? Give us the how's the day going? Thanks for jumping on. We were talking an hour ago and last night briefly, but
We just got to get stuff done, huh? In Europe, isn't that what we're here to do? So here I am, jumping on.
you love to see it. You love to see it. Thank you for joining us. Maybe for the listeners at home, and I guess even us, right? I mean, we've not spoke too much, but who are you? What do you do? What's the story?
Well, isn't that the question? I've just launched with some colleagues Europe's first dedicated semiconductor fund. That's the most pertinent bit of information. It's pretty wild that doesn't exist. Shout out to IMEC Expand, which have been DMing me saying they've been around for a decade or so doing semiconductor investing, which is true, but we consider those a CVC, meaning they invest sort of with an eye on IMEC, which is a large R&D fab. So yeah, we're making that claim, Europe's first dedicated semi investor. So the launch was in December. We've raised about 30 million. And the key thing, and what reason why I'm doing this now is because we really have to wake up in Europe. I mean, you know better than anyone. And part of waking up involves really early stage financing for big, ambitious companies that don't have to rely on grants. Which sure we can get into the detail, but I think there's a real need for a specialist semiconductor VC to give ambitious semiconductor founders money early before they have to worry about grants and going slow and applying for this or that.
Yeah. I think that's absolutely awesome. I think it's absolutely needed as well. And you mentioned we're losing the race. Like a lot of people think that is it too far gone? Like, can we compete in terms of like the capital expenditure that's required to scale?
Yeah,
these
like what's the
businesses?
thesis here?
Like, I think we have to rely on government intervention in Europe. Maybe we can't in the States. There's a lot more money flowing into these types of things. And it's not that Europe, I think we've discussed a lot on the show. It's not that Europe doesn't have the money. It's just that the resources are allocated pretty poorly as to where that money is going. What's your take on that generally?
So what's the thing? So first thing to say is that people are aware of semiconductors insofar as it is enabling AI, and in some sense, really just data center chips. Right, it's a tiny sliver of the overall semiconductor industry, which is like $1 trillion revenue. Obviously, NVIDIA is worth whatever NVIDIA is worth. But the point is, where everybody is focused right now, which is how do you beat NVIDIA and how does Europe have the equivalent of NVIDIA, is a very, very small question to be asking, right? Over the last decade, we've asked questions around a quantum computer, which is another part of this, and optical computers. The thesis for me and for the fund is this era of heterogeneous computing. So I'll break that down, which is to say, for the very long time, we just have one type of chip, a CPU. Right, that was for decades. Then we had two, GPU, which remarkably was able to do graphics rendering and now is remarkably good at training large language models. But there's like two designs. Now, there is going to be an explosion of new designs enabled by AI in terms of chip design, but also new materials that are ready to be used for new chip designs. So I would imagine the next decade, 15, 20 years, there's a whole new explosion of new types of chips, neuromorphic chips, which supposedly process like the brain, or photonic chips, which use light instead of electrons to process. So we should expect that in a decade's time, there isn't just a NVIDIA killer, but there are 10, 20 new types of companies that have a very specific, albeit large, niche, and that's where Europe can win.
That's awesome. We love to hear that. And I guess a follow-on question from this is like, how important is this for Europe? Why should we be doing this? People have been talking about sovereignty it seems to be in more and more conversations than it is a couple of years back. But, could you maybe touch on, why this is necessary for Europe? Like, why do we need a horse in the race?
Yeah, so the first part of that is don't necessarily subscribe to the view that we need sovereignty. Well, I mean, it's a slippery concept, as we know in the UK. Like the idea of having sovereignty in an AI stack or in semiconductors is for the birds. It's impossible. The semiconductor industry is probably the most globalized industry. We have the most sophisticated industry. Like I joke on my Substack, like it's all very well and good to have NVIDIA, but like who's your neon guy? Who's doing your vapor compression? Like there are so many different parts. Where are you sourcing your, we have ASML for lithography, but ASML is a packaging company. It has, I would say, hundreds of like component suppliers. The mirrors in the ASML device are basically made in Germany for Carl Zeiss. Yeah. So the point is, I don't think Europe should be aiming for sovereignty. What it should be aiming for is to have some sort of strategic dependency. So identify places in the supply chain. ASML is one, but the US have known this for decades. And the substrate is an example in the US of them trying to sort of break the monopoly of ASML. And China is doing the same. But that's just lithography. I would look, and I've attempted this again a few times in my writing and elsewhere, identify places for which Europe has a competitive advantage and make that the choke point in the next decade. So I've identified a few areas like compound semiconductors as an example, which is sort of silicon breaks down at very high voltages or very high temperatures. So if you want a chip right next to a battery, you don't use silicon. Or if you want to make a laser, you don't do it with silicon. You use different materials. And Europe has a specialism and an advantage in there. So if it were me in a big, EU.Inc. Capacity, I'd be pouring money to scale up companies in compound semiconductor or doing things for which we already have an advantage. Photonics is another.
Yeah. I want to talk about your job as an investor and how you source these people. We've seen, and we were talking earlier about VCs moving away from their funds that they might be generalist funds, but then might have funds of funds within them that are more specific, and going to go and start their own thing. And you can see now that there's a ton of investors and a ton of VCs that are now they're using their own like very specific skills to go and source in very different ways. As an investor who has just raised their like first fund in the semiconductor industry, what's the way that you are sourcing these people, and how early are you going to kind of invest in them?
Make two bets here. One is that sourcing becomes a commodity. It already sort of is. Everybody uses the same tools, Harmonic, or other tools. Plus, agents are at the stage now where you can pretty much scrape the internet, scrape company's house, scrape spin outs. Everybody with a limited budget, even solo GPs, probably, maybe we're there, maybe within the year, will have exactly the same coverage, in my view, right? So at a certain stage, so that sort of company's house registrations or spin outs, so any point at which the startup becomes legible, you're in competition. All right, so that's my core assumption of where VC is going. So I think you have two positions. One is AUM. We already see more and more AUM, Andreessen, Benchmark, Sequoia. The other is you become a specialist, you win, and you deeply know one specific domain. So I think deep tech was an attempt at that, right? Deep tech was separate from generalist, but deep tech is also very broad. So the bet I'm making, it could be a nuclear fusion fund, it could be a quantum fund, it could be, I don't know, a Xenobot fund, I don't know. But the point is, be very specialist, have LPs, like we have Global Foundries as one of our LPs. So we have a competitive advantage there, which is be really, really specialist, number one. So you see all the deals very early and you can win ahead of anyone else. But the second thing is find them before they're legible. And you can only do that if you're in a niche. So where I'm sourcing is pre-seed, first tickets in, and even I'm going to people in my network, people in the network of the team. We're saying, look, here's a really big problem to solve. Photonic memory, let's say, or holographic lithography. Go to people at ASML, go to people at, I don't know, NXP or wherever it is, ARM, and say, we'll give you money to build something big, ambitious in Europe, and do that sort of incubation stage.
Yeah.
So I think that's it, right? Big AUM or specialists, and I'm doing specialists as well as early as I can.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think we are seeing, again, just from our perspective, like a lot of the conversations we're having are this movement into nicheness, like across the board, whatever it is that an individual is doing, basically. And that sort of, we've had conversations in the past in which the venture ecosystem, it can go many ways. But as you say, the most likely sort of end point is major funds, hyper specialized, smaller funds, and then that leaves this kind of messy middle that doesn't actually leave any survivors because they can't compete with either side really because they're not early enough, and they also can't compete at the growth stages and get access to any of the deals, which is interesting. More on you and I guess Cloudberry VC in general. Like, how's it been since the announcement? What's the day-to-day looking like?
Well, it's on fire, which is good. In some sense, it's a real startup. There's just three of us, and actually, I think the challenge at this point is related to being a specialist, which is to say, if we speak to every semiconductor company in Europe, which is my aim within the year. I mean, it depends on where I do the cutoff. Maybe post B, I can't. But my aim is to speak to every single founder in semiconductor in Europe, and use that as a competitive advantage over time, right? If I can speak to everyone, then I'll have that. I'll have the granola notes firstly, but then also I'll have those transcripts to be able to better understand the network and the opportunities. So really, I'm making myself busier than they need to be, but that's for this goal, to speak to everyone. And then within that, really the challenge is going to be helping some of those incubation is hard. There are specialists, people that do incubation. It's easy to say we'll go really early, but going really early means more resource. It means there is no company to incorporate yet. There is none of the legals are there. There's nothing. And so that's another way that we're creating more work for ourselves, which is we think there's more value in the incubation, but it just means we're going to be busier and busier. My hope is that we get drop-in agent workers in the next quarter, and that helps things stop being on fire.
Yeah, I can imagine. I saw this kind of related to just how early you're talking about. It was like a tweet about some VC tweets out. It was like, I want to be so early that the founder's still using their personal email address on like the email exchange, which I thought was quite cool.
Yeah, that's quite cool.
Yeah, I mean, that's work. I mean, frankly, to be very, very specific, there's been at least one founder for whom they read the Substack post and said, look, I'm thinking of leaving this AR company. I have some specialism in optics. I'm moving back from the Valley because, I'm a national of Europe without being too specific. I'm bringing my family with me. I really want to build something huge from Europe. So, let's chat. And so That's where we want to play. We want to play there. I don't know how early that is. I think he had this existing AR company email. I don't know if that beats personal or not. But
Yeah, maybe it does. That's
existing
that's
company
awesome. Yeah.
email
That's the
to
new.
Gary's
Yeah, that's
way.
the new one. That's the new level.
earlier and earlier. Benjamin Button it.
Yeah, that's awesome, Lawrence. Thank you for jumping on. We're fresh out of time, unfortunately. I know this was last minute, but we appreciate you, and it sounds like you guys are killing it already. So yeah, best
good
of
luck.
for 2026.
Yeah, good luck for the year. Yeah.
Thanks very much. Appreciate it, guys.
All the
stuff,
best, Lawrence.
good stuff.
Cheers.
Take
Have a
care.
good one. Bye bye. Absolutely awesome.
finding-
I love the. I think there's a sense of like in that, you know.
Yeah, 100%.
Like we do need more of this.
Yeah, hoorah.
Peter, yeah, there is a bit of
Alex is
hoorah.
trying to. Alex, that was just not the right name. Lawrence is trying to find the deal of the decade. Be the reason your fund wins the deal of the decade. Use Spectre. Go to
See it down below.
tryspectre.com. They have a ticker. They're awesome. All the kind of private market data points and insights. Everything from people leaving companies, joining companies, starting companies, going into stealth, whatever. It's on there. We use it every single day. It's wicked. Yeah, they're wicked.
If you want to get to like founder still has company email stage, go to tryspectre.com.
Yeah.
You'll find them there. They'll be waiting for you. They'll be waiting for you there with a little latte, saying thanks for coming on down. I'll take your money.
And they're European.
That's my prediction.
So
for
good on
2026.
them.
Yeah. Love to see it.
Next on the show, last on the show, we have the god of GTM.
We got Mr. Stefan Ross coming in the house.
Yeah. So you worked with Stefan.
So Stefan was my. So I wasn't in Stefan's team when I was at Pigment. For those who don't know, Pigment is a French unicorn. It is a B2B software company that sells a financial planning application. So if there's anyone in finance that listens to the show, like you'll know that the likes of Anaplan is like the market leader, OneStream and all this kind of stuff. But they sit in the world where like, okay, what's the value of the product? Doing stuff on Excel with like regards to finance is kind of awful, messy, prone to human errors. You know, the usual spiel of like single source of truth type thing. So yeah, they operate in that space. That's where I met Stefan, and I wasn't in Stefan's team, but I wanted to be in Stefan's team because Stefan was so good at his job. So and I was very close friends with my boss, who was Stefan's boss. So like Stefan was my boss's boss. And he's just one of the most, for partnership specifically, he's probably one of the best individuals in Europe. So, you know, his background is he built like global partnership functions at Celonis, like I think it's Germany's most valuable software company, and like one of Europe's as well. He scaled, basically on his own, scaled Pigment's whole partnership function. He is also an entrepreneur in residence with Lakestar, so he'll help out from time to time there. And he is now running CG Partners, which is a GTM consultancy essentially. So if you're a pre-seed, seed, A, B, C sort of stage company, him and his team, you know, you say, you know, we want to, and he can explain it better than I can, but it's like we're at maybe 500K, let's say it's seed, we're at 500K ARR, we want to get to 3 mil and then maybe think about a series A. I mean, those numbers probably don't make sense anymore. You probably need to be like 10x that, which is ridiculous. But, you know, Stefan and the team will come in and be like, okay, cool. Well, let's just look at your whole GTM function. And is it partnerships? Is it BDRs? Do you need help with copy? What does your outbound function look like? What tools do you look like? It's everything end to end. So he's a beast. Like, you know, he
is the beast.
It's basically like, and especially for founders, I think these types of businesses will become more and more popular, especially for early stage, when founders, now that teams are usually quite like engineering heavy, which they should be, you know, especially early stages, but distribution is something that like early technical founders, I think really struggle to crack, especially when the team is like technically weighted, as opposed to like, and I'm not saying, you know, every seed company needs like 10 BDRs and like, you don't need that at all. You need like one person in my opinion, I think the new
It's
sort
gonna
of GTM
drive.
stack
Yeah.
should be like.
Well, it's more foundational level, and not foundational level in terms of agents, more foundational level in terms of building the foundations of your GTM function.
Yes, and then I think like
And
I
then
think Stefan and
layering
team
like on top of that.
yeah, Stefan and team at CG Partners can help you understand. Even to the point where like you don't have one yet, they can help you understand how one could work for your
Yes.
product.
Yeah.
Then they can scale it for you, and then I think like as it grows, I'm sure that the companies kind of learn the processes, and then they
So a
they
bit
get
of
on with it.
GTM knowledge from Stefan. But while we wait, leave outdated business banking up behind
Bit
with
behind, yeah.
Airwallex, the all-in-one financial platform built for the pace of modern business. Multi-currency accounts, corporate cards, expense management, online payments, all in one platform. Go to airwallex.com. They are geniuses.
Think we have Stefan coming into the stream as we speak. We're just going to check with our producer to see if he is live on the show. We are good to go.
We're live. Stefan, can you hear us?
Stefan, can you hear us?
Loud and clear, guys. Loud and clear. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah,
we
yeah,
can
yeah. You're
indeed.
good. You're
We
good.
can indeed. Stefan, what a pleasure. It's good to see you, man.
It's good to see you too, guys. And you probably had it more than once today, but you didn't need to dress up for me. You know that.
We're saying we feel bad because we basically invited a bunch of our friends to come to a cocktail party, and we've not told them it's black tie. That's what's happening right now. So I'm so sorry for that,
I
Stefan.
know, like, for a second, I didn't see, like, the bow tie, and I was thinking, are you going all corporate on me, guys? Like, don't leave.
No, yeah. Less corporate, more cocktail party. We thought to kick off for 2026. Dude, how's the Christmas? How's the New Year been? We're back in action now.
Yeah, back in action. Yeah, busy. It's classic, isn't it? Because, going into, like, that towards the end of December, I'm sort of like front loading the first week in January with meetings, and I come back after a few days off. I'm like, yesterday hit me like a brick in the face, to be honest, like back to back to back to back. But I mean, same with you guys. You overcame the little bit of technical difficulty earlier. I think we're looking good now.
You saw that?
Yeah,
didn't you?
you didn't have to see that. We just were brushing
I
on.
was early enough to see it, and I was like, yeah. I mean, I've been there since the beginning, guys. So.
Yeah, no, 100. And that's the not the problem.
The
I think
cobwebs were just we just have to
we have to shrug them off. But that's the beauty of doing things live. We were saying 2026 is the year of real things, proof of work. But look, enough about us. Let's talk about you. For those who don't know you, maybe you want to give an intro, who you are, what your background is, and what is CG Partners as well.
Absolutely. So yes, co-founded CG Partners, and we help B2B SaaS AI companies design highly efficient go-to-markets. We work with companies early stage, seed, Series A, all the way through to kind of Series B, C, D. So typically, kind of down to from inception to pre-IPO, we cover quite a broad spectrum. We talk about building holistic go-to-markets, because often people don't realize that everything from my definition of an ICP to how I structure a sales cycle, it impacts down the line as I grow. For example, how do I consider partnerships? How do I consider content creation when I get to Series B and C? And so laying the right foundations early days is really important. And if you haven't at Series B and C, it often requires to kind of go right down to the early roots and redo some of the go-to-market foundations. So we work with founders across, typically in Europe, but kind of everybody has to have kind of global ambition. I think that's kind of prerequisite for engaging with us, really. And my background, I think, Ronan, you'll know, is less as a theorist and more as an executor, being an operator for 10 plus years, and I guess some of Europe's relatively successful software companies, and very happy to, work with many amazing founders these days.
You love to hear it. I mean, Stefan's being too humble here. Though. He is one of the greatest, specifically partnerships operators out there in Europe. Celonis and Pigment are the two companies that you mentioned, two European leading firms. I guess, I mean, we have so much things to dive into. I think you had a question already.
I wanted to ask and just jump straight in with CG Partners. Like, how does it work day to day in terms of, when you look at a company, what do you see first? I just want to download some knowledge, basically.
Yeah. I'll avoid saying it depends, right? I always try to avoid it. But basically, context is king. Context is super important. So, like, if we're dealing with, so the first things that we'll do is a big download. So before we even start engaging, often with a firm, we'll have 1, 2, 3 sessions with that founder. We'll have a deep dive. Some of the portfolio companies we've worked with, we've had literally like 6-hour workshops before we've even started to have a formalized engagement with them. The reason being is that, if you're a seed business out of Germany, or you're a Series C company out of the UK, if you're a technical founding team versus being founder-led sales, or you have a team of 20 AEs, or you've got like a complex product for CFO space versus a horizontal AI application, your go-to-market will look completely different. Completely different. There's certain obviously principles and mechanics that you can take from one to the other, but you have to download the context of that business. So typically what we try to go into is really go deep into what is the pain and problem that they're trying to solve, what is the vision of the company, and then really go into the product itself. So where does the product differentiate itself? How do we have an ICP defined today? If we do, how has it evolved? How has it changed? What does the commercial go-to-market look like today so far? Where are the successes? And we start to go deeper and deeper and deeper to try to understand, okay, well, what does success look like for me? So we'll maybe deal with a company that's, say, 5 million ARR, and they say, well, I want to go from 5 to 50 this year. I want to go from 5 to 30. I want to scale rapidly. And we'll say, okay, well, how does how are you generating pipeline today? So are you doing it through, how's your outbound efforts, and how does that look like? How are you doing it through partnerships? Are you doing it through inbound? Are you doing it through events? Are you doing it through other affiliates? Or how we start to break into every single one of these different categories of pipe gen. And then we'll start to look at, how does the sales cycle look like? Is it structured? Is it not structured? Where the bottlenecks exist? And we can take, for example, best practice where we know conversion works. So for us, we'll often talk about businesses that want to scale. Well, to build something for scale, we have to build repeatability in the revenue engine. And to build repeatability, we have to build measurability, so measurable, metric-driven proven performance. Because how do I know whether I should invest heavily in outbound? How do I know if I should invest heavily in this geography or this geography, or this product versus this product? How do I know? And typically you'll look at the sources of how I generate pipeline. You look at the conversion rates of those pipelines within from channel to meeting to close of sale, as an example. We might, if you're a more mature business, look at the land and expand motion. We might look at, so there's a huge, what I'm trying to get at is there's a huge amount that you can unpick to try to understand what the existing go-to-market looks like. So if we're dealing with, again, early stage seed founder, typically maybe a bit more technical, hasn't done so much commercial, it might be the real basics of how we define the ICP, looking at specific geography, persona, industry, company size as an example, versus someone at Series C. But does that answer your question in a very long-winded way?
That's beautiful.
No, that was genuinely a beautiful answer. I have a question straight off the back of it. I recently watched an interview with Varun, founder of Clay, and he was saying how they're changing I think it was the BDR role, just like kind of reimagining the BDR role with AI. I wanted to ask more about from that answer, how's like AI changed like all of this? Like how do you think now that you may not have done, 5-10 years ago, whatever?
Great question. So I'll just stick in your example as like a BDR. Let's say BDR goal is to create pipeline. If I look back when I started as doing my kind of outbound as an AE, we had no tools. So I was looking up someone's name with +44 into Google, no joke, and I was literally looking for numbers, and I was just calling, and I was looking for emails. That was genuinely that was my prospecting, and at the time that was cutting edge because you had Google, and then you fast forward a few years from there, and you've got like ZoomInfo, and you've got all these amazing scrapers, and you can build lists like never before. And then you get to the point where you're like, with Clay, you can be highly specific, and you see this increase of personalization, and the kind of mass spam is, there, but the increase in personalization is there is incredible. The ability to then take and scrape these personalized insights is like never before. So the principles are still the same, and that I need to generate pipeline, but arguably it's more competitive than before because the benchmark is stepping up, because the accessibility to these personalized insights, which you would typically associate with a better outreach, is now just more ubiquitous across people. So when we talk about like AI applications, I see the challenge is when you have companies and you see them like 11Xs of the world saying, hey, yeah, you don't need BDRs anymore. Suddenly we can do calling, we can do it all. You don't need it. We're going to replace people. It's absolute nonsense. It's a red herring, genuine nonsense. But what it's really good at is saying, like, for example, summarization, signal extraction, consistency. So suddenly, what I can deliver as an output as a single individual is much greater than before, because that cognitive, limit that I would have, where I can only have so many follow-up emails. I can only have, search for personalization for so many people. Suddenly I can do so much more in my day. So rather than being, ripping and replacing people, and managing the entire workflow, it's actually certain components of the workflow AI can do really, really well. And that's the bit that I think is changing. So I think teams are getting leaner because you don't need as many people. I mean, Ronan, you'll attest that, for example, when you started at Pigment, like looking at the BDR team, look at the size of how it grew, and it was considered one of the most successful in Europe at its time. If you were to start it today, you would never need as many people.
Yeah.
But it's not about, you wouldn't need to replace any individual entire workflow. The function still exists, it's just as important, but the kind of component parts of the job can be supported, and you can do much more with it.
Yeah, that's such a cool answer, because I think traditionally it has been like just add head count. It's almost like an equation, right? 2 BDRs plus 1 AE equals X amount of like qualified pipeline or closed pipeline, just on like historical data.
And then when you crack the workflow times
that's for like
10
Series C
equals...
maybe plus enterprise company that has the luxury of doing that. But even then, it's not a good model, is it? Because you just like.
No, it's spot on, and it's like what we try to do is I was talking to our earlier answer about what we do when we speak to businesses. One of the really, really important points is we try to distinguish what market that company is operating in. Is it operating in a headwind, in a tailwind, in a neutral state? And why it's important is because we get all these. So you guys will know it. We get like the outliers in startup scale-ups. Garner about 80-90% of media attention. So the Lovables of the world, incredible companies, incredible go-to-markets, incredible, but they're not necessarily replicable. So you're not going to take a B2B CMO's office or CFO's office, a verticalized solution, and say, yeah, well, actually, this is what Lovable did. You just need more content, and suddenly you generate like millions. It's 7 posts a day. You put 7 posts, and that's what happens. And so the point is, we always try to create generalization and linearity, but we're always pointing to outliers. And so for us, we're trying to, and I guess the world of VC is kind of ironic in a way, because you have many VCs in here chatting about how we only invest in outliers. We're looking for the outliers, but they're all actually trying to create repeatability for outliers, which it's complete paradox, right? So
that's such a good take.
It's like, so they all happen. You get this imposter syndrome for all these portcos who can't generate these crazy returns and these crazy, but they were never designed to. They never will. And so for us, we're going in. It's like, what within the realms of reason is possible for that company, and we try to stretch that as far as possible. But there's no point in pretending that each of these startups is going to become an 11 Labs, a Lovable, or this or that. It's just like red herring noise.
We've been talking about predictions as you would when it's the first show of the year, and the 2026 predictions, and a lot of them are going from kind of like the generalist type companies to now really personalizing solutions for companies and people. I wanted to ask you directly what the implication on like GTM that kind of has on a company that now needs to hone down and like really like get specific on their ROI. How does that like change how you guys are working to build out the like GTM function of a company?
It's a great question. I think I'll start at the top. When you take like this advent of language model and artificial intelligence for building, like there's two halves, right? There's the front end of saying, well, hey, how do I interact with AI to make my life as a user easier? And then there's the other half behind, which is how I can use AI to build in a speed and efficiency that was never before possible. So even though my solution might not even have any kind of chat-based kind of AI language model on the front, at the back end, the ability to build has never been better, ever. And what that does is and we're starting to see it, is it's starting to the commoditizing a lot of different vertical spaces for, say, SaaS companies, because the ability to build is quicker, better. What took you 3 years with 30 engineers, you can do with 3 people and a really good lovable license. And what that's doing, it's happening in GTM, because what it's doing is it's squeezing often your ACVs, and we're seeing more and more players enter spaces. So what I'm seeing is that there's companies popping up left, right, and center for the same problem statements, and we're seeing that happen across, and that's pushing down the general ACVs. So we're seeing the kind of deal size, the value-based sell is becoming more competitive for more spaces. And I think that, I'm not sure it'll happen this year, but we're going to start to see a consolidation of that. So one of the challenges, we've got value-based sell has become more competitive. We have challenges with continuing to scale the ACVs. But then also on the other end, as a buyer, I guess the benchmark for my reply rate in terms of the level of personalization we talked about earlier is going up. So I think it's becoming difficult, more and more difficult for outbound as a function, even with tools like Claim, because that's now just pretty standard. I think I'm starting to see a shift toward, again, a continued shift from last year into this year for events and for content-led pipeline generation is still, I mean, outbound is still there, but I would say when you tie together content, events, outbound, all in one, into one kind of large multifaceted sequence, you're getting the best conversions. But that's a general sense of what I'm seeing.
I'd love to go like slightly more practical on something that we've discussed before, actually, is like why earlier companies, maybe seed, pre-seed is probably too early because they're still figuring everything out, but maybe seed, once the product's good to go, seed, maybe A as well. Why do they in particular struggle with GTM? Like, I've been at one and struggled with GTM, and like I know it's a thing, but I'd love to get you probably see a bunch of these. Like, I'd love to understand your take.
Well, happy to. I mean, we've been early with a lot of different companies. I mean, guys at Light, just to give you a really successful, Palm and other companies. And look, there's a host of reasons, and I'll give a couple. One is that when you're early stage, one is that you don't have any repeatability. So you've been getting your first revenue, your first customers by non-scalable means. Network, by friend of a friend, by a favor, by someone else in a VC portfolio, by a connection somehow, and you kind of hustle your way to your first 5, your first 10, and that will maybe get you to the basis of where you have there's something there. You can maybe start to garner enough narrative to raise your seat. There's this chasm that then exists from this like non-scalable activity to generate your customers to then being a little bit more repeatable. So often you see companies that get to seed that they've never done outbound. They've never really had any kind of real content-led campaigns. They've never done events. They've never really had to define their ICP. They've never had to. So there's no system or structure that exists, and often that they kind of feel a bit stuck a bit, and they might never quite get to the point of going from 5 to 50 customers. Now, for me, if you've got 5 customers that love your product genuinely, and you're not in some absurd niche, there's no reason that you shouldn't be able to do 50, because you have a product that people love, people use, and it's not a one-off. If you're doing it 5, 10 times, I mean, there's no reason. And then it's just about that kind of friction that exists between you creating some repeatability. The other reason is that if you're engaging in a more mature space, let's say Pigment was early days, you're dealing with Anaplans, Adaptive, so on, and loads of solutions. You don't have any commercial defensibility. So every time you're having to sell to a customer, you're selling on this vision, on this product, on this, we've got amazing UI, UX, but you've got no defensibility commercially. You've not existed for more than a couple of years, and you're trying to sell a 3-year contract, and there's no reference point. You can't say I've sold to this many clients in manufacturing, I've sent this many banks, and so it's really hard to de-risk yourself. So I'd say there's 2 components: it's systems and structure to create repeatability, and there's also credibility in your commercials, and you're trying to de-risk that for potential buyers. And if you can overcome those 2 things, there's many ways to do it. That is what you unlock to get to your 10x.
Yeah.
That's so interesting.
Awesome.
Downloaded all of it. It's great.
Does that answer your question? Does it make sense? You can tell me.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm just looking. Do we have more? We can go over a little bit.
Can we go over? How much time do you have?
I've got time. I've got
Yeah,
time, guys.
another fact, because I just have a few more.
Yeah, don't waste your time. If you've got important stuff to say, I mean, if you need to take a pause to give an announcement.
No, we're dressed to impress for you, Stefan. This is the only reason we're wearing these is for your segment. I want to understand, like, just before you came on as well, we were talking about I was kind of giving like a background of you know what you do and what the team does. It's becoming increasingly hard for startups to meet expectations of venture firms. Mainly when one just associates that to like ARR as a baseline, right? It's really the only metric that they'll care about, really. It's becoming harder for startups to raise money because of these expectations. You know, they want to see like at least maybe 1 million to 2 million ARR before they even put a check in nowadays. But also, you know, it's increasing expectations on growth functions from early GTM teams and therefore their execution, right? Because it's kind of hastening them along. I don't know if that's an unfortunate thing. I don't know if that's just like an efficiency thing, but like this new scaling momentum, like expectations are bigger numbers in shorter timelines. That's just how the venture side of the world is looking at it. And I think, to be honest, a lot of the public as well. Just because now we see the Lovable scaling to like, I forget what number they're at now, but it was something nuts. We see 11 Labs doing the same thing. It's not uncommon now to see like a team of 5 scale to 5 million ARR in a year. And again, you can debate this, whether it's like, is it they're taking monthly recurring revenue and they're extrapolating out on contracts that don't even exist for a year, right? Like, because that's kind of false, but it's a theme anyway. I'd love to hear your take specifically on VC expectations and like how that's impacting like GTM teams and their execution.
Yeah, it's a really good, a very topical question. Like I said earlier, there's a lot of anchoring happening at the moment where we're in, I wouldn't say unprecedented, but we're in incredible tailwind right now. I mean, incredible. Think about this wave that we're riding around AI, right? Think about it. Like there's companies just buying because of the promise rather than the reality, and that has just proliferated through all segments of business. And you know that's where we're playing catch up with outcomes. Are the outcomes actually meeting the promise for business, for enterprises, mid markets? And it's created huge opportunity for disruptors, which is typically early stage younger startups. It's brilliant, right? So it's fantastic from the perspective of, yes, we have opportunities to build truly new generational companies, but again, that should not be generalized for all businesses. And I think that's the challenge that we always have. Whenever we ride an amazing wave, we sort of expect that to have to be generalized across all facets of business. And that's where it is. We're in that vein, the challenge that VCs often have is they reward narrative over reality. And how many times, and maybe you guys have heard it, like you'll have a pitch deck, if it doesn't say AI, how can you raise? How do you raise if it's not got AI in it? And you're kind of, well, but maybe think about the pain problem that you're solving and the solution. Does it need to have some kind of language model? Does it need it? And the challenge, everyone's just trying to create these false narratives because they know they need to do that to raise. And with go-to-markets, the challenge is for many of these companies that are not existing in this tailwind, it creates hugely improbable expectations on the operators. So, I mean, I was at it even in Salonis in 2020, 2021. You know, we rode it through COVID and we grew exceptionally quickly. But the expectations just kept going up and up and up, and it was expected to continue. So, you know, it wasn't unusual for me one quarter to the next, I have 100% increase in quota, 100%. And you're going, the stress, the strain. So there's one element you could say, yes, does it challenge you to perform better? Does it challenge you to stretch yourself? Sure, but it also promotes a lot of burnout, a lot of kind of mental fatigue and stress. And I think that it's a bit of a short-termist narrative, because we know for these companies, what's the average time from founding to IPO if you do? These days, it must be, 10 years? Is it give or take?
Yeah.
We've got a long way to go, but we're behaving as if, this quarter is do or die. And I think that there's just, for me, there's a fine balancing act. I like to stretch that out the possible. I like the fact that we can challenge status quo. I'm always an advocate of that, but I'm also just very cautiously aware that these outliers don't apply to everybody. And it was the same at Pigment. We raised it's like 500 mil in like 5 years. We raised a huge amount of capital, and we managed to deploy resource to challenge an enterprise segment that was really dense with competition, really difficult. But I often get the question, why can't other people just do what Pigment did? And I'm going, well, because others have no means to garner the resource and the capital that Pigment did.
Yeah. I like pairing that. Yeah, so pairing that with like the GTM function at Pigment as well. I mean, it was, best in Europe by far. Maybe even like pedestal for like a world class BDR, GTM function, and partnerships function.
Yeah, we joined. What stage were Pigment at when you joined?
A. So I was like the 6th or 7th employee in like the London office, I think.
Yeah, but they were Series A, and there must have been about 100 plus people, 100 people.
Yeah, total, yeah.
Yeah, so how many Series A companies, I don't know you guys, but Series A companies, 100 plus people, not many.
Yeah, not a lot at all. Yeah, that's nuts to think. I didn't realise that at the time, actually, that it was 100 people, Series A company. Now it's like 15.
It's an amazing success story, but that's my point with it all. It's like, but we shouldn't take that as being replicable for everyone. And that was actually the reason that we wanted to build CG Partners, because we've been in these companies, and we've sort of stripped back to the component parts that we believe are replicable for other organizations. We take away all the noise, all the kind of BS that exists around, these outlier tailwinds, what you should expect of revenue, what you should expect the go-to-market function to look like, how many meetings a BDR can book, take all that away and actually look at the context of that business and take the best practices of what's replicable across these incredible organizations around the world. And then that's how we start to build the foundations.
Yeah, we keep talking about the consolidation of there's like hype cycle and like companies who 2026 is the year for companies who are actually solving something. They might not need to be those hyperscalers or really kind of fast growing, but it's like longevity. Like they're building like a company for longevity. The customers are having their problem solved, but then they can also raise money off the back of it if they need to. It's not just all hype off the back of a narrative, which is at the moment AI.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of companies bootstrap at the moment as well, startups and founders. Have you seen more and more bootstrapping founders?
Yeah, loads, all over X. Even Fleet founder Alexander, one of Europe's top angel investors, he bootstrapped Fleet to 35 mil, I think they're on.
Yeah, something like that.
He bootstrapped the whole thing. He's been doing it for nearly 7 or 8 years now. There are some real success stories out there of it.
All the narrative and noise when you can just do it yourself. You just focus nice and simply on the pain, the problem, the customer, and your solution, and there's no need to try to fit AI every third sentence and whatever. You're just you're just solving a problem.
Yeah,
agree. We are at time. We're way past it, but and we're very happy that we are as well. Thank you
so much for coming
on.
on. We appreciate the time.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Cheers.
Good stuff. Really great to meet you.
Nice one, mate.
Awesome moves.
Few spicy takes there from Stefan. We love to see it on the show.
Indeed. Polymarket, the world's largest prediction market. Stay informed and profit from your knowledge. Go to polymarket.com to go and do everything you want to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, with that, I think we can wrap up the show for 2026.
That's the one. Number one show 2026. We will be live.
Will be
for the rest
sorted for
of
Thursday.
Yeah,
Thursday actually. We have got a massive guest that we haven't even
we will be
yet.
announcing Thursday's guest tomorrow, and it's going to be good.
Should we do it tomorrow?
We might even do it today, but
maybe today. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
But
Big
definitely
guest.
tune in tomorrow. Thank you very much for joining and coming back after the end of year break. We will see you on Thursday at 11 a.m. GMT.